35 seconds to play. Now Holloway near side. Up to Fowler. 28 seconds. Fowler, and he scores! Deflection by Jordan Kyrou in front of Cam Talbot with 28 seconds to play. Sider now with it. He gets shoved off of it. Now a 2-on-1 with Thomas and Fowler. Here we go. Thomas over to Fowler by himself. Backhand. He scores! Cam Fowler, the 2-on-1, goes top shelf on Cam Talbot, and the Blues extend their win streak to 10 games and 41 wins overall.
He's one of the leaders in the locker room, that's all I'll say. You know, he's been a part of this run for us, so we'll give him the credit. A little bit of Jobu magic that's helped keep this thing alive.
Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. What a performance last night by our St. Louis Blues. With Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter, some of the sounds you heard last night. Congratulations to Alex Ferrario, who had an excellent call last night. I was driving around a little bit last night, had an opportunity to listen to Alex, who stepped in for Chris Kerber and certainly took advantage of that moment as Alex sounded great. And the Blues won. And I think we should start with I realize that we can get into Cam Fowler, and there's a bunch of different ways that we can attack this. But I do think we need to start off with the most important question. Is the power of Jobu greater than the BKO?
Oh, yeah.
It might be.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. He was in the building last night. I saw he took a picture, said the BKO is over, maybe.
I don't think it's over. I don't want to. I don't think you can kill that thing. I think that's a zombie.
It didn't work last night. It's a zombie. It's alive.
Well, some say from inside
it's dead.
Inside the locker room, some of the training staff was letting me know after the game that they were getting the room ready because it was the third period and putting things away and getting towels ready for the guys. And Jobu's eyes started to glow.
I believe that.
So he must have really been having to dig into his Jobu power because the BKO was strong at that point.
It was in the building.
It was.
Brandon Kiley attended the event.
The Red Wings had just scored.
So you had JT Compher. He opened up the scoring. 5:13 into the third period. So he converts on that cross-crease pass from Bergen into the open net.
Yes.
But the Blues get the late equalizer from Jordan Kyrou. What a moment that was, too. I mean, Jamie, can you break down just the sequence of passing, finding that opening, and then Jordan Kyrou managed to beat Talbot, who was outstanding last night.
Yeah, he made a lot of big saves. The key is that it ends up on the far side of the ice, and Cam Fowler gets the puck and then takes one stride and then kind of opens up a little bit and then continues to skate. And by doing that, it opened up the passing lane to Jordan Kyrou, who was completely uncovered. Mm-hmm. And so he fires like a hard pass. The purpose of the pass is to get a deflection out of it. It's like a shot pass type thing. And Kyrou tries to do the little shovel deflection like Sidney Crosby loves to do, and he almost misses the puck. And then the puck squibbles between Talbot's legs and in the net.
You know, it was all part of the design.
I mean,
like a change-up.
Yeah, it was something, all right.
Yeah. I got to do it. Like, give Jordan Kyrou, I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't. Because obviously he scored the game-tying goal to send it into overtime. He turned the puck over in overtime and then laid a guy out. Don't talk about him no more.
Yeah.
Leave him the hell alone, man. He realized the error in his ways and he took it out on that. I get chills. Because when you hit somebody and you knock them down, there's no better feeling. Scoring a goal is cool, I'm sure. But when you hit a man and his body hits the ice, that got to be better. It's got to be a better feeling. You made a mistake. You turned the puck over in your own zone. Look, oh, here we Jordan again. Boom. Shut up. That's what he did. Boom. Shut up. I did it. I fixed it. Let's play. All right?
That was awesome.
What do we want?
I couldn't even control myself in the broadcast.
What more do you want? Leave him the hell alone, man. He is no longer the man that he once was. This is a newer version. He is leading the team in scoring. He's laying people out after he makes a mistake. He's playing winning hockey. Leave him the hell alone. I don't want to see no more texts. I don't want to see any more messages in the group, in the snake pit, or from anyone else. Shut the hell hell up.
No.
Okay? Leave him alone. Jordan Kyrou, I have personal, say, I am his bodyguard now. Leave him the hell alone. When he goes somewhere, I'm in front. Leave him alone. All right? Don't talk about him.
I'll notify him.
Yeah, I let him know.
Yes.
I got his back. If they talk crap, tell him to call me. I'll be there. I'll be the person to lay him out for you from now on. All right?
That was fun, though.
That was beautiful.
What he said, so it was almost like, that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, boom, give it back.
It was shocking.
Man.
I'm standing there.
And the whole crowd went crazy.
In between the benches, he turns the puck over. I'm like, oh, man. And then, boom. I was like, ah.
He was pissed off.
I actually should go back and listen because I think I went, ah.
So that leads to Cam Fowler scoring the game-winning goal with 1:33 remaining in overtime, capitalized on that breakaway opportunity, and the Blues win yet again. Jordan Binnington made 20 saves. Uncharacteristic mistake from Binnington behind the net on the one.
I did that on purpose. The crowd was falling asleep a little bit.
He wanted to give everybody a heart attack in the building.
A little bit,
Yeah, so Jordan Binnington made the 20 saves, maintaining his strong performance in March, where he had already earned the NHL's third star honor. So he earned the NHL's third star honors throughout March. So we get to April 1st, his first game, and he's like, you know what? Let's get everybody on their feet a little bit. Let's stop the heart for a second.
Yeah.
Great play by Nicoletti. Here's Jim Montgomery on whether or not he felt it coming on in the third. So felt his team coming back in the third.
Did I feel it coming, you mean in the third? No, that's why we pulled the goalie so early. We weren't creating enough chances. We didn't have enough zone time, and they were icing pucks, so they were tired. So I felt that our first period was a pretty good period, but it wasn't hard enough offensively, and I just felt that we kind of lost energy as the game went on. But the great thing is we found a way to win. Our third period continues to be a period where we play simple. Our habits are the best, and our game management was the best.
I love the fact Jim Montgomery is so locked in right now. He's like, no, I didn't feel it coming at all. That's why we pulled the goalie so early. Strategically, he's locked in. He's not caught up in the emotions. It's fun for us as fans and in the media to get caught up in the fact that they've won so many games. Like, I still know. I knew it, and if we just scored in the third period, it's going to be our game. Yeah. Jim Montgomery's like, nah, I don't like what I was seeing, so I pulled the goalie that early. But it wound up being a calculated move that worked out.
Yeah, and you got to respect the fact that Monty's being honest. And I think that's the refreshing thing for a lot of these players is the coaching staff has been brutally honest in every scenario, good and bad. And the team is accepting the coaching. They're accepting the praise when it's there and it's necessary, and they're responding. It wasn't a fantastic game. The Blues couldn't get to the inside ice last night. They generated very few grade A chances, gave up several grade A chances. Binnington only faced, 20-some shots, but I think 7 or 8 of them were like prime scoring chances that he made saves on. So you looked to find a win in a different way. Mm-hmm. And it worked. 24.7 seconds left or whatever it was in third. You tie it up, and then you go win that thing in OT. It's wild right now.
And they won it with Cam Fowler. Here's Cam Fowler on what has led to this Blues turnaround.
Well, I think it's been building for a long time. You know, it can take teams a little while to, kind of find that cohesion that you were speaking to. And I think Monty and the coaching staff have done an amazing job of putting us players in positions to succeed. And we've worked really hard since the break of doing things the right way, practice days and game days, and we're starting to see the results. So, but I think it's from all the work that collectively the players and the coaches are putting in.
Still a lot of work to be done, but the Blues right now are your number one wild card team, 89 points, 1 point ahead of Minnesota, who has 88. But that separation between the Blues and the Flames and the Canucks and Utah, I'll have to include them as well, that continues to grow. Mm-hmm. Calgary has 82 points, you're 7 points ahead of them. You're 8 points ahead of Vancouver, and you're 9 points ahead of Utah. Excellent work by Jim Montgomery and his team. More to come, including the debut of Jimmy Snuggerud. We'll get Jamie's thoughts on Jimmy Snuggerud's NHL debut, and we'll hear from Monty on what he thought of Jim Montgomery. We're talking to Jim Montgomery at 5 o'clock. It's our weekly chat with the coach, and we got quite a lineup today when it comes to interviews. Jim Montgomery at 5, Chris Chelios at 4:15. on to promote this weekend's game at Enterprise Center, or not Enterprise Center, excuse me, at Centene Community Ice Center. We'll be there for the Puck Cancer second shift game, and we'll be broadcasting live from the E&B Granite Studios down at Centene from 2 to 6. We'll talk to Chris Chelios. Anthony Becht, fresh off the dominant victory over Houston in Week 1, and they're ready for their home opener this weekend. So we'll talk to head coach Anthony Becht of your Battlehawks, and Brad Thompson will join us at some point following the Cardinals game. Let's get into the Cardinals.
Why did you say it like that?
Well, I was going to say, let's get into those Cardinals.
Yeah, they're winning.
And then Logan O'Hoppe decided to erase the lead that the Cardinals have. They are trailing now 5-3. But good news, folks. Mason Wynn is off the schneid.
Yeah.
Just singled up the middle.
Oh, wow.
First hit of the year.
They're down 5-3, bottom of the 7th right now against the Angels.
Ball for him.
Game ball.
They're trying to avoid the sweep.
All right.
Game ball. Yeah, come on. I don't know. I said it like a New York to game ball. Game ball.
Speaking of New York, big strong guy Pete Alonso's not there, so maybe they could get that ball.
Maybe. Yeah. I like that. Yep. All right, so we're going to get into the Cardinals. Cardinals on the brink of being swept after doing the sweeping in that first series. We'll talk about what went wrong last night and what currently is going wrong down at Busch Stadium now. That's next on 101 ESPN.
There's a fly ball, right center field. It's struck well. After it is Scott. He's out near the wall. It's gone! A grand slam! Logan O'Hoppe has put the Angels on top.
Well, that unfortunate audio coming from FanDuel Sports Network West as Logan O'Hoppe destroys a baseball from Sonny Gray, who got himself into massive trouble. He had a 3-1 lead, as did the Cardinals. And he gave it all back with that one swing by O'Hoppe to make it 5-3. But the Cardinals have rallied in the bottom of the seventh. Mason Wynn collected his first hit of the season. Lars Nootbaar came around and got another base hit, so he stayed hot. And Wilson Contreras got his first hit of the season as well. And the Angels decided to throw the ball around the infield. And now it's tied. So 5-5 at Busch Stadium, bottom of the seventh. Contreras moved all the way to third following the multiple errors by the Angels. And now the Cardinals have an opportunity to retake the lead. So I really like this offense, guys. I know last night stunk. I know the previous night.
Well, the offense didn't stink last night.
The offense didn't stink last night. The loss stunk last night. But what I'm seeing right now out of the new-look Cardinals under Brant Brown, the new hitting coach, I don't know how you don't like it. I mean, Mason Wynn, who just got his first base hit, and Wilson Contreras, those two guys have not hit. But everybody else, whether they're starting games or you're somebody like Nolan Gorman, who's gotten spot starts, they're all stinging the ball. They look good.
Baker looked good, too. Again, pinch hit last night.
They're playing well. I mean, their offense, as you said, is humming. They're buzzing. They're averaging 5 runs a game. They got another 5 today. So, they want to win. They're going to have to get more than 5, obviously. But, it's been really good so far. The offense has been good. The bullpen, Sonny Gray.
He was great against Minnesota.
He had a really good and
he was having a great outing.
The bullpen was great against Minnesota.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sonny Gray was having a good outing tonight.
Having a good outing and then gave up another home run, which that's I don't like that Sonny Gray. I don't like the Sonny Gray that gives up
home runs. Yeah, we had him last year too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Like it wasn't good.
It's the only thing you can complain about. With Sonny Gray.
He gave up 2 today. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, he gave up the first one to Mike Trout.
Yep.
First inning.
A shot.
It was a shot. And then
deep center.
O'Hoppe had the grand slam.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. But going back to this Cardinals offense, we mentioned some of the statistics yesterday. They're 5th in Major League Baseball right now when it comes to WRC+. Home runs, they're a respectable 9th. What other stats you guys like?
Home runs were terrible last year. Remember, bottom of the league.
Oh, in most of the main offensive categories, the Cardinals were in the bottom five.
What about RISP?
You want some RISP?
I like some RISP.
I don't think that was very good last year.
I'll have to look that up. A lot of people love batting average. They're 6. On base percentage right now, 7th. And this is Major League Baseball. This isn't the National League. 7th.
It's not the Central Division.
It's not just the Central.
That'd be tough if you were 7th in the Central.
Yeah. No kidding. They added some teams. In both Centrals. They're 6th in slug. This offense come together. And the things that we've wanted to see have been there too. Jordan Walker.
Oh, yeah.
He tagged one last night. He had the big home run. He also had a missile up the middle. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's too early to say that this is his breakout. This will be his breakout season, but he has looked good. Ivan Herrera tattooed a ball in this game today.
Couple of them. Yeah.
2 home runs, Anthony.
He's been great. Ivan Herrera has been great offensively. So a lot of things that we wanted to see have been there as well. I think the starting pitching, albeit today was rough. But I think the starting pitching has been good too.
It was. I mean, it ended up rough, but Sonny Gray was good until the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Since the Trout home run to when he got into the 7th, Jamie, you're right.
So
he was outstanding.
Maybe somebody left him in too long.
See, I wouldn't.
Should we blame Ollie?
We're not hiding that.
Well, that's what we do, isn't it?
No.
Typically, yes. If things go wrong, you blame.
Tell us what we should do.
If things go wrong, you just blame the manager.
You don't blame the ace. of your staff.
Yeah, shouldn't have been standing there.
That allowed the base. He was standing there because that's his damn job, to stand on the mound.
He was standing there.
He was standing there. He was standing there looking behind him.
Nah, should have been standing next to Ollie.
Oh, gosh.
Should have watched him Natan do his thing.
It's easy in hindsight, but you were into the 7th inning and he put 2 guys on base. At that point, maybe you go get him. And then
you can go get him.
And then they left him in with no outs, mind you. Did they really think Sonny Gray was going to pitch his way out of the bases loaded with no outs?
I don't know. I mean,
allow one.
Once the bases were loaded, let's go get him, right? I was okay with the first 2 because, again, he'd been rolling.
I just didn't like the no outs at that point.
Sure.
Oof.
Yeah, get somebody in there that can get you a ground ball.
But you did have a 3-1 lead. So if you're looking at, I don't know. There's lots of if and buts and, all that stuff.
Yeah, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts.
We'd all have a Merry Christmas.
We'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Yep.
I don't get that, though.
Well,
why would we have a Merry Christmas? Why wouldn't we just have a good Saturday? Why does it have to be a Merry Christmas?
Because it's candy and nuts. Candy and nuts.
You only have nuts on Christmas?
I don't have nuts ever. Except for... Never mind.
I mean, you said it.
You possess them.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
If you bring them for lunch.
Yeah, if you have them for lunch.
Yeah.
You can.
My son is allergic to peanuts, so I don't generally peanuts.
Okay.
I don't generally carry nuts around because he's allergic to them.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I have to remind people, hey, no nuts.
Keep your nuts away from my kid.
Keep your nuts away.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what?
He'll throw up.
That's a good idea.
He actually did. We were at a baseball game last year. I think I told you this. And there was a lady, she had hammered a few.
Yeah.
And was eating those peanuts and had it all on the residue on her hands and was high-fiving everybody. I said, hey, ma'am, no. He's allergic to nuts. Don't stop.
Yeah.
And something else happened. Ah! Ma'am, I've asked you nicely twice. Don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it.
But maybe she was nuts.
She was.
See?
She definitely was. And then he projectile vomited into the trash can. He should have.
Nah, you should have steered him right over there.
I should have. I didn't know it was coming. He's like, I don't feel good. I'm like, all right, we're going to the bathroom, and we made it to the trash can. It was. I said, oh no.
This is why.
This is why we stay away from nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
Killian's allergic to tree nuts.
Yeah.
So that's not good. Yeah. Cashews. Almonds. Pistachios, I think.
Like Ashley's son, her oldest Kelly, is allergic to peanuts, but it's like kids at school. Everybody's got the peanut butter, the Reese's peanut butter cups.
They've done a good job of
They do.
getting all that stuff out now.
Yeah.
They do remind
They've got
kids about
certain
peanut allergies.
sections too.
They
that
got
you can sit in for
tables where
lunch.
kids can sit and stuff.
Yeah.
Back in our day,
But, he's in high school.
hey, get over it.
Yeah,
You're gonna
Walk
there's
it
no
off.
section, okay? Rub some dirt on it, kid. We're not gonna send out an email telling the entire school that they can't enjoy their peanut butter, okay? Just get over the allergy. That's what it was for us growing up.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. By the way, the Cardinals not great with runners in scoring position. They failed to get Wilson Contreras home with no outs.
They did purposely walk Arenado though. And then to get to Herrera, which was weird because Herrera has 2 home runs on the day.
Just needed a sack. Sacrifice fly.
Maybe the pitcher's numbers, though, against Herrera are good. We didn't look at all those things.
Yeah.
Still, get the ball in the air.
You gotta get that guy.
You gotta get that guy home.
You gotta
Why
find
did you
that
just bunt
dog.
it down first base?
Or just pinch hit for him. That's what people would say.
For Herrera?
Yeah, sure. Ollie made a mistake.
He didn't get him in. Should have pinch hit.
Exactly. He had 2 home runs.
He struck out this time.
Nah.
Should have pinch hit.
He wasn't going to get a third. You got to know that if you're Ollie. What are the odds that he's going to get 3 home runs in a game? Go get him out.
Get him out. The hell is wrong with you?
You're the manager of the Cardinals. Albert would have known that. All right. Did Jimmy Snuggerud earn himself a spot in the lineup? Tomorrow night. Jamie will break down his debut last night. That's next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues with an epic victory last night in overtime. 2-1 the final. Cam Fowler gets the game-winning goal in OT. The Blues extend their winning streak to 10 games, and they'll take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night. And you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Blues head coach Jim Montgomery at 5 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. Also, after losing in extra innings last night, the Cardinals are currently tied with the Angels 5-5 in the 8th inning, looking to avoid the sweep. Last night, Jimmy Snuggerud made his NHL debut with your St. Louis Blues. Did he earn himself a spot in the lineup tomorrow night when the Blues take on the Pittsburgh Penguins? We'll discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It was fun. I mean, so exciting. Obviously, the rink was so energetic. Everything about the game, the comeback at the end, it was an awesome game. Mariucci's a really fun rink. It's really loud in there, and you come to this rink and, it's more people and there's more loud, honestly. I thought the energy in this rink was unbelievable. When we scored that game-tying goal, it was so loud in here, and then the overtime winner is twice as loud. It's just really fun, like I said, to just kind of be here and see that.
That was Jimmy Snuggerud talking about last night's environment and last night's game. That was his debut last night. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So he had a couple of shots on net. Also had a couple of aha moments as well. One in which Vladimir Tarasenko hit him against the near the wall, and Jimmy Snuggerud was like, "I better get my game going here." Jamie, your thoughts last night on the youngster's NHL debut? Like, what stood out to you?
Yeah, so look, you can clearly see that he's got great offensive instincts. He does. He did some subtle little things that only high IQ hockey players that are high IQ offensively do. Yeah, the one time it was a shot from the point. He was out wide. Then he saw the puck go to the point. He worked his way back to the front of the net, had a little deflection, was right there. The Blues almost scored on that play. It was a heck of a play. Another one, he uses his wheels to get down the wall past the defenseman, gets a good quick shot on net, almost fooled Cam Talbot. And I liked his position. He was very aware positionally. Unfortunately, he's on the ice for the goal against, but it had nothing to do with him. His job is to cover the high slot, maybe come as low as in between the hash marks. That guy standing at the blue paint is not his guy. Mm-hmm. That's a missed assignment by the defenseman on that play there. Felt bad because he ended up standing next to the guy when he scores, but the coaching staff will let him know that was not anything to do with him. In fact, the point that he was down there even trying to cover was a good sign that he was aware of that guy being there. Now, the flip side of it, and I said this before the game last night to a bunch of people down there, is for playmakers and offensive players like Jimmy Snuggerud, Dalibor Dvorsky, the time and space is almost not there in the NHL. You just don't. The best players in the world, like the Patrick Kanes in his prime, could create time and space by pulling pucks away from guys, by drifting into areas. Robert Thomas does it so well, too. But if you don't know how to create your own time and space, there is none. Mm-hmm. And so for Jimmy Snuggerud, there were times last night, especially on the one power play in the first period, he got frustrated because he kept trying to make a play and there's nothing. And then he got checked and a knockdown, puck taken from him.
They were all over him, too. I mean,
Well, the Red Wings were all over everybody. That was a really physical game, which was good. I thought that was good for the Blues because it made them be aware of the other team and respect the other team. But yeah, it's the walls are caving in a little bit on him at times, but that will get better. Practicing every day with your teammates, doing all the things like that, he will figure it out. He's a little light. I don't know how much he weighs. He's got a little a slimmer build, like his bone structure is a little slimmer. So he's going to have to put some meat on, not just weight, get some muscle, because guys are chucking him around pretty good along the wall and stuff like that. Now, he'll also learn how to get lower on those ones, because at the college level or even junior hockey, you can get away with it because most of the guys you're probably stronger than. And so you can just, they bounce off you a little bit. In the NHL, you're not stronger than them. They could probably pick you up and throw you over the glass. Like, let's just be honest, okay? But he'll learn to get lower center of gravity. He'll learn how to, like, get the butt out. Like, watch Zach Bolduc. Watch him last year and watch him this year. It's a completely different player. And for lots of reasons, but just the way he's handling his body position overall. So I thought Jimmy Snuggerud had a really promising start. Did I think it was as good as Dalibor Dvorsky's first game? I don't know. Probably about the same. But again, they play different positions, so it's very difficult to compare.
Sure.
As one's a centerman, a lot more responsibility on the defensive side of the puck, and the other one's a winger. And, you know, Jimmy Snuggerud got a shot on net, created some offense a little bit there. I liked what I saw for the first game. It was great to see him out there taking his rookie lap, too, and it's a big moment for the kid in a massive game, albeit.
Seriously.
I like the fact that he was trusted to be in those moments. It was late in the game, third period, where
Carey, they pulled the goalie and they put him on.
And it was 6-on-5. He was still in. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but it was late in the period before they scored the goal. I think he drove the net really hard and made a pass. I think it was to Dylan Holloway, and Dylan almost was able to score that goal. Was it Neighbors? Yeah. Okay. I thought that was a really good play, like a heady IQ play, understanding I can trust my speed, and being the athlete that he is, doing what he does and getting the pass over there. Jake Neighbors just was unfortunate to get the puck in the net, but I thought that was a really good play for him. And then, like you said, being trusted enough to be in the 6-on-5, you know, that speaks volumes to what he did yesterday as well. It's gonna slow down for him. You know this, I know this.
Yep.
It when your first game, you're like, oh God, it's so many people out here. And he's like, no, it's the same amount you played your entire life. Coach, no, I think they got 7 guys out there. It feels like they're cheating. No, they're not cheating. It's just moving a little bit faster. People are anticipating faster than you're accustomed to, but it'll slow down for him. I thought he had a very good game for his first time out.
You're in the building?
Yeah, there's a moment, I believe they were on the power play, and Detroit, you know, must have attended the clear it camp, you know, trying to get the puck out on the kill, and Jimmy Snuggerud knocked the puck down out of midair, and everyone's like, oh, like, look at this
People were
guy.
looking for any reason to cheer. It was awesome.
Loved it. But then he was at the blue line, and he kind of looked like, you know, he didn't really know what to do with the puck because guys were trying to come back and tag up so they didn't go offside. And I thought at that moment, maybe, I don't want to say he looked like a deer in the headlights, but
that's where he was frustrated.
That was where he was frustrated. I don't know what you do with that. Maybe play a little roller hockey and regroup in the neutral zone, or just soft chip and go right back in. Like, I think that's a moment right there where maybe you could see that he's a young player.
Well, you could also see that he's new to the team.
For sure.
Because
absolutely.
If he had been around for a month now, he'd know, bring it back, regroup. This Blues team's not afraid to bring it back past the blue line, not afraid to pass it back to the goalie, for that matter. You know, and so that'll come with time. You know, he's used to being the go-to guy on a college team where they probably don't play that style. So it will come.
He's just used to, you're right, that's a great point. He's used to being the guy.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm here, I signed the deal, I'm in the lineup, I got to make a play. I think that's good. You know, you want that level of aggressiveness. At some point, you do need the awareness, like you're talking about. It's a team. The team's been playing a certain way, and all you have to do is do your job.
Well, one thing, too, that I absolutely love from Monty is just the confidence that he's instilling in all of his players, but in particular the really young guys. You know, Snuggerud plays over 10 minutes last night, plays on the second power play unit out there in the 6-on-5. Like, Jimmy Snuggerud didn't leave that rink last night feeling like he cannot play in the NHL. He didn't leave that rink thinking the coach doesn't believe in him. And that's key. And that's one thing, I'll say this, is Drew Bannister didn't show a lot of confidence in some of the young guys last year. He'd take them off the ice all the time in different situations, and I think that affected Zach Bolduc a little bit. And if I'm going to be critical of Craig Berube, even though we love the Chief, and he will be a god in this town forever, and he's my boy, he didn't always trust the young guys either. And I think where Monty has learned from some of other people's apprehensions is that you got to trust these kids. They're drafted high for a reason, and they're going to be the future of this hockey club.
Well said.
So you give them a chance and see what they can handle.
Here's what Jim Montgomery had to say on Snuggerud.
I thought he was really good. I thought he made smart plays. I didn't think he overcomplicated the game, and he made plays on first touch. That is a real good sign of a hockey player with really good hockey sense. You know, I thought he acquitted himself really well for his first game in the NHL, and I was very confident putting him over the boards. He was making things happen. Like, he drove that puck wide, and he went back post, and we just missed a tap in. That's not the only clever play he made, and I thought he was responsible defensively. He was working to get back, so he fit in with the way our forwards have been working for each other.
There you go. If I'm a young player and I hear my coach says, yeah, I'm confident in him, I'm comfortable with him hitting the ice and doing what I asked him to do, I feel very good in that moment.
Is he in the lineup tomorrow night against the Penguins?
He is not.
You don't think so? Yeah.
For following the...
Honestly, I'm a psychopath because I would put Bolduc, Dvorsky, and Snuggerud on the same line tomorrow night.
Oh, that'd be fun as hell. Now, the fan in me would love to see that.
Right.
But, like, what are you scared of?
Nothing.
It's the Pittsburgh Penguins. What are you scared of? Like, that's kind of where my head goes with it is, why would you not give it a shot? The Penguins are 30-34. They're 11-20 on the road. Like, what are you worried about?
They did beat you in the last outing.
They did.
That was the last time you lost a game.
It is, but that's because Jordan Binnington had a bad night.
For sure.
Let's just be honest on that one. You should have won that hockey game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think it'll happen, but if you're going to do it in a game, like, that's kind of a fun game to do it.
Yeah.
I will say this. You have last change as the home team. So if you do not like a matchup,
You can control it.
you can control it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So do I think Monty's as crazy as I am? Probably not, but he's close. He's close.
Okay. All right.
We'd ask him later today. He'd be
Let's
on at
do it.
5. We'll ask him.
Jim Montgomery, coach of your Blues, on at 5 o'clock, like Jamie just told you. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got What's Trending next.
topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, the Dodgers are 7-0, tying the 1933 New York Yankees of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig for the best start to a season for a reigning champion. Can we all admit that the season is over?
Yeah, I don't even know why anybody else is playing.
And we can stop playing baseball.
Just give them the trophy now.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, save a lot of time. No?
Been saying it for months.
Yeah.
Now, how good and or bad is this for baseball? If this team just continues to just beat down everybody and it's not even a contest.
Well, let me ask you this. As a baseball fan, somebody that enjoys Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Are you entertained by one dominant team that runs through everybody?
Carey's back, hang on.
And it's basically a foregone conclusion that they win.
They're the greatest team ever.
You good with that? You entertained by that? Are you not entertained?
Yeah, who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be entertained by
I wouldn't.
winning every single game? You know? You don't want to win every game? Anthony.
I want to win.
You want to win every game.
Yes, I want to win every single game.
So why wouldn't the best team in baseball want to win
But
every
for
game?
Major League Baseball,
Oh, you're looking at it the wrong way. Yeah. You're not having fun, Anthony. That's the problem. Is it not fun to watch
the
winners?
Dodgers win?
Yeah. You chose the Dodgers the last two nights.
You know why?
Because they're going to win every game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to.
You're excited about it. You're happy to see
I'm in the
them
driver's
perform.
seat with Bet the Board, so I just keep picking them.
You don't want them to win every game?
I don't.
Why?
I want Major League Baseball
Anthony.
to suffer.
You want Major League Baseball to suffer?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they ain't going to suffer.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to make even more money.
As long as the Dodgers are in L.A. doing their thing, buddy.
Maybe not.
You know? Hey.
LA, the Dodgers fans only show up for half the game.
Well, they don't need to show up for every game.
What's your problem?
I don't know. What is his problem?
What's your problem? Seriously,
He's
we're
angry.
trying to have a discussion. Marshy asked an intelligent question.
Yeah.
Is this bad for baseball? And all you've done is go into pissy mode.
No, I have said.
Very angry.
I have said, Jamie, that in the past this is crap. They should have a salary floor and a salary cap.
Okay, well, you know that the players aren't going to settle for that.
I understand that. So
then
what do you
what's-
want from me?
I don't know. A solution.
It's boring. That is a solution.
No, it's not.
That is a solution.
No, it's not.
What's the solution?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find
Cap,
out.
The Dodgers
cap,
lose?
floor. Cap, floor.
Yeah,
Well,
but the
you
players
know
aren't gonna
that's
settle
not
for that.
never happening.
What do you want from me then?
What they should do.
I want you to cheer for the best team in baseball.
You're like, give me a solution. Here's your solution.
Here's the-
Not that solution.
Here's the easy solution. Well, your solution was not good because it'll never happen.
Okay.
correct?
What's your solution?
My solution, which probably never happened either, okay, is that the teams stop revenue sharing.
Okay.
That's it. So if you're the Pirates, if
You
you're the...
get nothing.
You get nothing.
You get no money.
You get no reward
You
for
suffer.
being crappy.
Right.
Nah, I do
None.
like that.
Now, the Dodgers and the Yankees, they'll still dominate in certain fashion because they have the most money, and if they don't have to share any of their revenue, one would think, well, it's only going to get worse. No, it won't. Because when other teams have to actually spend money, all the players that you thought you'd have going to all these teams won't go there necessarily. They'll be overcrowded. So then some of the other teams will get players if the other teams have to spend the money. Imagine if the Cardinals had to spend more money. Imagine if the Reds had to spend more money. The Brewers, go down the list. Half the league should be spending more money.
Right.
And if they did, that would actually create, I think, more parity in the league.
Sure.
I think
That's not a floor or a cap for the players.
I think your decision works better. I like your answer, Anthony. Not yours so much.
Anthony's got it's a great.
It's not.
No, it's
It'll
a
never
great
happen.
idea, but it just the players will never go for it.
My idea,
the owners will never go for it.
Exactly. We're in the same
Some
spot.
would.
Anthony,
Some
I
would,
love
the
your
ones that
idea.
are sharing.
Thank you, Marsh.
You're
Oh,
I
the ones that are
appreciate that.
making money?
It'll never happen.
They'll throw the others under the bus
The
in a
hell with
hurry.
those guys.
Jamie and I are paddling the same island, just in different boats.
Different islands.
Different islands.
Sure, different islands.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Carey's already
island.
at the island.
I'm here.
But
It's deja vu, baby.
yours has already been tried.
A nice drink in his
by
hand.
the owners.
I was.
Last collective bargaining,
still there.
we're going to power through this. Last collective bargaining talks, the owners wanted the floor, and they wanted a cap, and the players said, go chase yourself.
Right.
So the players now in return should suggest, hey, owners, you guys make all this money. You're big, fat, and happy, right? Why don't you just say, no, you get to keep your own. Imagine that. Hey, Dodgers, Yankees, you guys get to keep your own money. How good does that sound? They'd throw the Reds under the bus in a heartbeat.
Yes.
There you go.
And back
You're
it
done.
up.
See ya.
Yeah.
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 How about your Cardinals, man? Our Cardinals, huh?
Cardinals rally.
No.
Our Cardinals.
Go
I
get your
said I
damn
have
blue
an NL
glasses on
Central
and
team.
walk out of here.
And an NL West team. I don't know why that's a problem.
When does that stop? Like, are you going to have an NL East team and an AL East team?
I don't like the Braves.
No matter what the sport is, you should have one team and stick to it.
What?
You notice how he never,
hell are you talking
he
about?
never gets too high or too low with the Dodgers. It's always Dodgers, very high.
Herrera.
Home run?
Hat trick.
Hat trick in the home run. Oh, my God.
Good thing Ollie left him in.
Yeah. Didn't take him out.
Good thing there's nobody on first. Didn't have to throw anybody out.
Jamie, come
James.
on.
We're having a great day. We're having a great segment.
Didn't have to kick
Hurt
the man.
people hurt people.
Yes, they do.
That's amazing. 3 home runs in one game is. When's the last time a Cardinal did that? Was it Matt Carpenter?
3 home runs?
Way back when?
I don't know. I'll have to check that out.
Yep.
Probably against the Cubs or something at Wrigley.
Seriously, I think it was.
It might be.
On a fateful
pretty
July afternoon.
So now this creates even more of a dilemma. Contreras isn't hitting very well. Herrera is killing the ball.
What are you saying? Trade him?
No, do you on a day where you're playing Pajes behind the plate, do you DH Herrera and backup catcher Contreras?
Well, what about Gorman? What about Burleson?
I know.
The St. Louis Star.
He literally just hit 3 home runs, though, guys.
He's not coming out the lineup. I guess they don't give a damn if he throws nobody out.
Put him anywhere.
You
If
know
he hits
what,
3
kid?
home runs, it doesn't matter.
You're going to make up for it on the other side.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll worry about that later.
The
We'll keep
Cardinals
working
have
on
blown
it.
the doors off of this. 12-5 right now.
They are scoring a lot of runs. This has
Anthony,
been
you're
exciting.
really quiet. What's going on?
I love it. I wanted to look up your 3 home runs in one game. Matt Carpenter, May 24th, 2018, against the Chicago Cubs.
I thought it was
Marcy.
July.
Nice job, guys.
Teamwork.
It's a teamwork.
Yeah, it was in
type
May,
thing.
so that was the only fact you got wrong. But other than that, May 24th, 2018 against Cubs. Albert Pujols did it August 4th, 2006.
Against the Reds.
No.
Damn it.
Carey?
The Dodgers.
No.
Cubs.
Wait, that was
No.
Mother's Day. Was it not?
What year?
August 4th is not Mother's Day. No.
No, I think you said April 4th.
April 4th is not Mother's
It's not
Day.
Mother's Day either. I could have swore he hit 3 home runs on Mother's Day against the Reds in 2006.
I'm seeing August 4th, 2006 against the Padres. Yeah. Mark McGwire did it May 21st against the Cubs.
The Cubs taking a beating, eh?
And Stan Musial, July 6, 1954, against the New York Baseball Giants.
Didn't somebody hit 4 home runs?
Yes, that was Fernando
Tatis.
Tatis.
Senior.
Senior. Yep.
Yeah.
All righty. Nice job. Cardinals up now 12-5 on the Angels. They're looking to avoid the sweep. Our guy Brad Thompson will join us, and I'm sure he'll be in a good mood, provided, of course, the Cardinals can close this thing
I'm looking
down.
this up right now. Cincinnati, St. Louis, Pujols hits 3 homers, including walk-off. I'm sure there's someone out there that remembers that. Just like
What
that.
year?
Well, maybe
let me check.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe my research is incomplete, Marsh. Are you looking at it right now? You see the box score and all that?
I'm watching. I'm looking. It says 9 years ago. It was posted. It was off Bronson Arroyo.
Okay.
It was one of them. It was at Busch Stadium, so it had to be, this new Busch Stadium, not the old one. And they got the patch on there. That's the inaugural season patch. That's 2006.
All right. He may have had multiple.
Well, Marshy, I'd be angry if I were you.
I wouldn't challenge Marshy when it comes to.
Well, he's got it pulled up.
Okay,
It's
here
tough.
you go. I got it. September 3rd, 2006. He hit 3 home runs against the Pirates. He also had, let me see here, He had 3 home runs against the Cubs on May 30th. And he had 3 home runs against the Cubs in 2004. And 3 home runs against the Cincinnati Reds on April 16th, 2006. So, I don't know where that August 4th, 2006 Padres game came from.
I don't either.
All right. We'll look to clean things up.
Yeah, be better.
We got to be a little tighter here.
Yeah, we'll be a little tighter. Either way, I think it was Matt Carpenter the last one to do it. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Just don't quote us. Is pitching going to be the main problem for the Cardinals this season? Is it going to be the problem? The only problem? We'll get into it next on 101 ESPN. Yeah, so we made a couple of fast lane mistakes in that last one there.
So unlike us.
Fernando Tatis had the 2 grand slams in the 1 inning. It was hard hitting Mark Whitten with a full home run game.
But then Marshy brought up an interesting thing too, is we're rhyming off game after game after game after game where Pujols had 3 home runs.
Right.
Like,
How good is he?
Oh, my God. What a treat that was to have him here.
And the text line let me know it was not Mother's Day. It was Easter Sunday, the game that I was referring to. It was some type of holiday.
Don't forget your mom this May, Marsh.
That's right.
All right, this May. The Cardinals. Will pitching be an issue?
What kind of pitching?
Right. Because I think the starting staff has done pretty well. Matthew Liberatore last night made the start. It was really 1 inning that got away from him. That was it. It was the 3rd inning last night. Otherwise, I thought he was good. He missed a ton of bats. He also didn't walk anybody. I thought he was solid. If he's your 5th starter and he can build off of last night, awesome. No problem.
Liberatore?
Liberatore. Sonny Gray, first start was good. Most of this game was good. The 7th inning got away from him. I don't even mind. The home run to Trout, solo shot. A lot of times the solo shots, if you're a starter, aren't going to really crush you. It's the crooked number innings, and he had one today in the 7th.
Boy, did he ever.
Otherwise, I think there's been more good with Sonny Gray than bad. Miles Michaelis, pleasant surprise the other day. Andre Palante coming off not a great spring. Pleasant surprise in his first start. And Eric Fedde was good. I think the starting staff has been good. I think your high-leverage relievers have also been, for the most part, good.
Yeah.
Phil Maton has been great.
He's been great.
Ryan Helsley, good. JoJo's had the roller coaster. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about whether or not the bullpen will be a major issue this year. So far, it's been one excellent series against the Twins and one really rough one against the Angels.
But I think you can, I think you can boost your bullpen, like always. Like if you wanted to right now, you could probably get rid of a couple guys and promote McGreevy or Graceffo to your bullpen. I mean, maybe it's not ideal, but I always feel like there's bullpen help that's out there, even on other teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Oh, bullpen, and Jamie, to your point, and the Cardinals just got the victory 12-5 today over the Angels. So Brad Thompson will join us at 3:15.
All right.
Nice
Quick
job by the
turnaround,
Cardinals. They fell behind. They fell behind by the home run by virtue of the Mike Trout home run in the first inning. Came back, tied it with the Ivan Herrera first of 3 home runs today. Oh. Ivan Herrera put him up 3-1. Sonny Gray, who we've been talking about, gave up the grand slam. In the 7th inning, Cardinals rallied in that same inning in their half to tie it at 5-5 and then tacked on 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th to win it 12-5 today over the Angels. So they salvaged 1 game in that series. And now we're talking about like the concerns. Ivan Herrera is interesting. Dude can hit. No question about it. And everybody knew he could hit. That's why he's here. That's why the Cardinals are making the investment in him. But what do you guys do with him behind the plate?
I told you exactly what I'd do yesterday. I would just flip this thing on its head, and I would see if Herrera can play first base and DH and put Contreras back to splitting time with Pages behind the plate.
Mm-hmm.
The future for Herrera, I don't believe, is behind the plate for any team, for that matter.
Yeah.
So why would you continue to put the square peg in the round hole?
He needs to be your DH.
DH or try him at first? I don't know. If you did it with Contreras, why can't you try it with Herrera?
Right.
And then put Contreras back to catcher / DH.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's the path for me.
But does Pages become... See, I know what you're saying with Contreras. I wouldn't have made the move initially, but you've got Contreras who has been working out as a first baseman this entire winter and spring. So I don't know if it's just...
he forgot how to catch?
I don't think he's forgot how to catch. But let's just say he's like, hey, listen, I like not having to squat, as many times during a game.
Too bad. We paid you $87 million to squat. But the fact that we changed our mind,
do you think the Cardinals will do this?
What?
Do you think the Cardinals will do this? Do you think the Cardinals would entertain moving Contreras back to first?
No, they're going to find a way to screw this up. I'm not being snarky about it. They've already screwed it up. They signed an $87 million catcher and have not been supportive of him for 1 minute. Not 1 minute.
As a catcher.
As a catcher. He started, then he was going to be first base. Then he's going to be in the outfield. Then he's going to play DH. Then he broke his arm playing catcher last year. He was your most productive hitter, too, when he went out with the injury. And then this year, the offseason, right away, they're back to first base. We're going to put a guy who can't throw to second behind the plate.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put a kid who isn't as good as Contreras defensively. Baez is good. He's solid.
Yeah.
Is he elite? No. But he's solid. So I think they've just been jacking him from the very beginning of his tenure here as a Cardinal. I think they'll just continue to do that.
So one of the, I thought I read this before, Wilson Contreras did put on more weight to when you move in the transition from catcher to first base. Yeah, but yes, but I think there's a difference when you're crouched down and in that position for that long and you weigh more. It's going to be heavier on your knees and on your body, on your back, on your ankles. I think he probably, part of it was intentional. I'm going to add this weight so you can't move me back. I don't think he wants to play catcher. Not that he can't, but it
too bad. I don't care. I signed him as a catcher, Carey.
But if you moved me to first base and I'm unable to play the position at the level that I was at, I mean, we've seen guys add weight, haven't we? And we saw that they were unable to move.
He put on a couple of pounds,
He put on about 15 pounds.
Big deal. Nah. Are you telling me he can't crouch behind the plate anymore?
I'm telling you.
He's not the Kool-Aid man back there.
He probably doesn't want to. And so, therefore,
you don't know that.
If I put on 15 pounds because I was not going to be at a certain position anymore, like when I moved from tailback to fullback, I added some weight.
Yeah, and then what if the coach told you you're going back to tailback?
It's going to take me time. It's going to take me 2 to 3 months to get that weight up.
Right?
Oh, yeah. The season's going to be over.
I think you're putting way too much stock in that.
I'm just telling you.
And I think that the Cardinals will do whatever the hell they want with Contreras, quite honestly.
I don't think
And I don't think he'll block it. He's not that guy.
I don't think he's moving back to
If he was going to block something, he'd have done all of that last year or when he was first here. He'd said, this is stupid. I'm not doing anything. You guys signed me to do this, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a problem now.
No, it's not. You just have Ivan Herrera hit 3 home runs a game.
But
whatever runners he doesn't throw out,
you can't
make
have
up for it.
You can't have them both in the lineup.
Can't have who?
Contreras and Herrera. You did today because Herrera's behind the plate, but you can't tell me Herrera's going to be your full-time catcher.
I think they did tell you that.
I think that's what they want.
Well, have fun with that one.
I think they are developed. They're trying to develop him in real time.
Well, they better get that arm on steroids or something.
Well, I don't know about
These
that.
are illegal.
That's illegal.
That.
Guys, I understand, but he's how old now? 24? Mm-hmm. He's not miraculously going to turn into Yachty behind the plate.
You know we agree with you, right? Like,
I know,
we
but I'm
agree
getting
with the arm
frustrated.
and stuff.
He's very frustrated.
I'm frustrated. Not with you guys.
I think he is.
No, I'm
Jimmy,
not.
can I ask you a question?
No.
Let me ask you this. Where was this level of, like, passion when I said moving Contreras to first base was a dumb idea?
I probably agreed with you.
I don't know. Not to this level.
I bet I did.
I could have used you.
I didn't like the idea to begin with. And I thought it was stupid because the Cardinals signed him at $87.5 million to be a catcher. They completely overpaid for a catcher. Mm-hmm. And now he's at first base.
Right.
That makes no sense to me.
No. Panther Claus 2025, not once but twice, said, Herrera is the catcher. Get over it.
Okay, Panther Claus.
Wow.
You can have him as your catcher then.
No, he's going to be your catcher here if you're a Cardinal fan.
Not if I was in charge.
Panther Claus.
Yeah, Janet, you get over it.
When he sails a couple in the center, or when you face the Reds.
When he hits the bump. When he hits the pitcher's mound.
You come back and see us now. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Brad Thompson's going to join us next to talk about the huge win, including Ivan Herrera's massive 3-home run day in the Cardinals as they avoid the sweep with the Angels. Brad Thompson next on 101 ESPN.
Go blank yourself.
Looking outside right now, raining a little bit. You're going to want to make sure you've got good tires on your vehicle. Head over to Pure Performance. They have all tires for any make, model of vehicle that you've got. Doesn't have to just be those oversized off-road tires. They'll check it out and let you know what they've got for you. They also now currently deal with ATV, UTV, and golf cart tires as well. So we got you covered there for all your weekend toys. And they've got lots more available in that 25,000 square foot facility. They've got all the accessories that you want for your Jeep, your Bronco, your pickup truck, your minivan. Doesn't matter what it is, Pure Performance has you covered. They're located right off of Highway 70, Cave Springs exit. Get in there, ask for Shelby or Paul. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They're going to find out what you're looking to do, and then they're going to take great care of you. They're going to ask you what your budget is, and they're going to maximize that for you. And the technicians do an incredible job of putting all of it together for you. And if you're in there, or if you just need any work done, they've got a full-service garage, too, that's open every day to help you with tune-ups, brakes, oil change, whatever you need. They've got you covered. So, again, stop by in person or get there online. Visit pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
We're hanging with Brad Thompson on 101 ESPN.
Hanging breaking ball from Brad Thompson. And boy, does he get a swing on it. Lift and separate and see you later.
Hanging with BT is sponsored by St. Luke's, ranked top 2% in the nation for cardiac surgery by Health Grades. Visit stlukes-stl.com.
22 pitches and a high drive by Herrera. It's a 3-homer game. Way into Big Mac land.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Cardinals get it done today against the Angels. Very entertaining game, and they avoided the sweep at Busch Stadium. On the call for FanDuel Sports Network was our guy Brad Thompson, who now joins us live, presumably from Busch Stadium. What's up, BT?
Gentlemen, that was a blast. What a fun one, guy. I'm still live here at Busch Stadium. I'm actually watching Rick Horton do a post-game show right now, so I'll try not to be loud yelling. Yeah, I'll try not to be loud yelling at him while we're doing this. But what a game, man. That was a blast.
Speaking of a blast, about 3 blasts from Ivan Herrera. I don't know if you thought this going into the season, BT, but that kid could hit.
Well, yeah, you guys heard me probably early innings. I said, look, I feel like Herrera is going to be the first catcher in Cardinal history to hit 3 home runs today. I just felt like just had that feeling inside. It's everybody knew that he could hit. He hit at every single level coming up. You knew his bat was special. You knew you had to figure out a way to get him in the lineup as much as possible. But those were 3 no-doubters. The first one was off the Bet 365 facade beyond the seats in the front row out in left field. The second one was off the French fries of Big Mac land. And then the third home run, the biggest no-doubter, was second to last row in Big Mac land. I mean, what a performance by him. And just the young guys in general, man, this team has just a new approach hitting-wise. They got a confidence. They got a swagger. It's been fun.
BT, just a question regarding Herrera and the catcher position and all that. Like, it's no secret that Herrera, not the greatest at holding runners at first base. And I know he's continuing to work on that. Ollie says, same thing he said the other day. He's working on it. But the bat plays, obviously. But what's ultimately the solution at the catcher position? Because if you get into tight games, or even if you have a playoff team, it's going to be pretty tough to roll out Herrera when you know that he struggles throwing guys out.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Jamie, and it's something that we've actually seen, come to fruition early on in this season during this homestand. Is late in the game, as much as Ollie probably hates to do it because he wants to continue to instill confidence in his guy, we've seen Herrera get pulled out late in the game and Pages come in, because there is a big difference as far as the running game goes. When you have playing a team that has some speed, they're going against Ivan Herrera. Against Pages, he's the better catch and throw guy. But when you have an offensive weapon like Herrera, and especially who swings it from the right side in a lineup of the Cardinals that have a lot of lefty bats, you got to figure out a way to get him in. So I think that's the answer. You'll continue to keep him in there as much as possible. Late in the game, you might have to make that switch for him. Maybe you'll see him DH every once in a while, but not ideal, right, having to do that late in some ball games, but something you'll gladly do to keep his bat in there.
BT, this team is averaging 7 runs a game. They've been hitting the ball really well. Guys are performing well at the plate. How much credit do you give to Brant Brown and his philosophy and his approach for these guys?
Yeah, a ton. Look, he's the new piece, and he may be saying totally different things that maybe they've never heard before. Maybe he's saying the same thing but doing it differently. But what Brant Brown has been able to do, and you guys all know, you guys all played various sports and played at the highest level. Sometimes it's just the way somebody says something to you, the way that they're able to connect with you on a different level. And it seems like that's what Brant Brown is able to do. He can speak old school baseball. He can speak new school analytics. He can speak the mental game. He just is really getting through to these guys. And we've seen it. It's not just the sheer numbers, right? 12 runs on 12 hits today, and the over 7 runs a game, as you mentioned. They're hitting better with runners in scoring position. But when you're watching this, you're seeing an approach. You're seeing the ability and the willingness to go the other way when you've got to shift on up the middle, or as much as a shift as you possibly can. You're seeing guys take the RBI. We saw them drop down a couple of bunts today. Victor Scott the second and Mason Wynn both dropped down a couple. Like, they're situational hitting, and I get it's 6 games, right? 4-2 on the homestand, but it's head and shoulders above where it appeared to be last year.
BT, I appreciate you when you said, yeah, you guys played at the highest level, that you didn't say, except for you, Anthony. That was
Anthony,
made me feel good.
You have no idea the restraint it took to not talk about how you were at one time a shortstop, then you got moved over to second base, but I wasn't going to do it. Not going to do it.
Well, funny enough, the Snake Pit is having that exact conversation right now. Calling one person, Hugh Giselli, saying that Herrera has the bat of Bonds and the arm of Stalter.
That's not nothing.
For the record, my arm was strong, just not strong enough for D1 shortstop.
That's my strong arm.
That's my strong hand. And everybody has to transition at some point. Everybody has to figure out what their strengths are. And, Anthony, I feel like you have done that at an incredible level.
Once I got away from the diamond, yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're talking to our guy, Brad Thompson, World Series champion, who's on the call today as the Cardinals beat the Angels. Brad, obviously it's a little too soon to say this is a breakout year for Jordan Walker, but is it a breakout year for Jordan Walker? He looks great.
Guys, I'm going to go out on a limb right here and say I think this is a breakout year for Jordan Walker. It comes down to, again, it's making adjustments, and it comes down to a connection. And he and Brant Brown, because when I had the opportunity to talk to Jordan, we were on the Caravan together, and he was talking about his offseason work and talking about working with Brant Brown. You could just tell that there was a relationship. There was like a real connection there. And it's not that he hasn't had respect for Turner Ward or whoever it was, but there just seems to be that connection. And we're seeing it in, again, the results, great. But the process, the swing, he's closed up his stance a little bit. His hands have moved closer to his body. He is shorter to the baseball, and his pitch recognition is far better. There were a lot of times last year, guys, when we watched Jordan Walker take pitches, and he'd take it, but boy, there was nothing that looked easy about it. He'd be out on his front foot. He'd look very jumpy. Right now, he looks calm. He looks in control, and he looks like he's trusting his hands. So that was the hope, right? You give him everyday at-bats, give him 600-plus plate appearances out in right field. The hope was that he would turn into a guy. You would unlock something. You would find out early. We all know it's early on. It looks like the returns have been good.
BT, speaking of early and the returns being good, how about Lars Nootbaar? I mean, this guy's an animal right now. I mean, what are you seeing, or what is maybe the team talking about that they notice that's different apart from just being healthy?
Yeah, I think that's it, because there's no like huge differences when you're looking at the on base percentage right now through the roof, right? He's hitting 417 or something like that right now. But what makes him special, he's got a rare combination of great eye, great patience, but he also has really good bat-to-ball skills where when he hits the ball, he's a high-exit velo guy and does some damage. So you think about that off the top, having a leadoff guy that has that sort of skill set like Lars Nootbaar does, boy, that's like instant offense for a ball club. And the biggest question, as you guys know, as you just alluded to, Jamie, is can he stay healthy? He's never played over 120 games. He was limited to 109 to no fault of his own. You know, freak injuries end up happening at some point. But this is what they were expecting. They've been singing the praises of Lars Nootbaar for years because of the skill set, because of like a lot of this StatCast, these analytical data points, and we're starting to really see this. And you're starting to see him grow into his own and have that confidence that he's a leader and he's going to get the job done.
BC, I want to go big picture and talk about all of baseball, and there's been talk about
World
this.
Series.
Yeah, that too. Talk about the torpedo bats. You being a pitcher, how do you feel about that, and do you think it's an unfair advantage for those hitters to have this bat?
Look, as long as you give me a baseball that's weighted on one side so it slides around like crazy, I think that we're good to go. No, the main thing is as long as it's within the rules that are stated in the rule book, then it's good to go. It's one of the smartest things, and it took the Yankees and a guy from MIT to actually think about this in the first place. But you look around baseball, there are some guys that have been using this, and certainly the Yankees are the one where it was Anthony Volpe and Jazz Chisholm Jr. doing the most swinging with that bat. But we do this in the game of golf, right? Golfers all get fitted for their clubs and they tweak them differently. It makes all the sense in the world, and we've done this in baseball with the knob of the bat. You've seen the puck knob, and you've seen different iterations of it, but it's smart. And it's just like anything else, like any changes, it's not going to work for everybody. Like the torpedo bat's not going to work for every hitter out there, but as long as it's within the rules and then you give pitchers back pine tar, I think we're good.
Hey, Brad, one more. We'd be remiss if we didn't ask you about your thoughts on Matthew Liberatore last night. Had a rough third inning, but otherwise I thought he looked pretty good. What are your observations?
Yeah. Man, how about that third inning, too? Because within 10 pitches, he already had 2 outs and then 3 runs had come around. Like, it went so fast for him, but he did not allow that to ruin the rest of the game, and he was able to slow things down. So, look, I thought that Matthew Liberatore in that one did everything that you could ask him to do. He showed the swing and miss. He showed good velocity that he maintained throughout the game. I believe his last pitch of the game was 95. He went 6 strong. He didn't walk anybody. And struck out 4. So that first turn around the rotation was a really, really promising one. I'm happy for Matthew Liberatore. This isn't just a short leash thing. This is he is going to be in this rotation, and it was a great first turn for him.
Brad, always love having you on the show. We chat with you each and every Wednesday. We appreciate you coming on, and man, it's always nice to talk to you after a win.
Oh, it was a blast. It was a fun game today. Hopefully we are off to Boston here in the next hour or so. So I hope it's a great first road trip here for the Cardinals.
And you get to see the game, too, and call it. And didn't you miss the one with Boston? Didn't they send you down or something, those jerks?
Anthony?
Wow.
Thought we were going to have a good day. It was all positive. Everybody's happy.
Sure.
All right. You just keep working on that arm over there.
Love you, buddy.
All right. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
That's our guy, Brad. That's our guy, Brad Thompson, here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Yeah, for the backstory on that one, he was so excited, I think, to play his first time in Fenway, and they sent him down like the day before or that day or something like that, so didn't actually have an opportunity to do so. Brad Thompson, great stuff, great analysis, and yeah, if you missed it earlier, he says, I think Jordan Walker's going to have a breakout year.
So. I hope so.
Yeah. Hope so, too.
Yeah, I mean, where the kid has that much as far as expectations, I'd like to see him realize that a little bit.
Definitely. All right.
him.
We have our Sports Six-Pack Part 1. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you have any questions for the Sports Six-Pack that you want us to answer, send it there, and we'll answer them next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. You just heard from Brad Thompson about your St. Louis Cardinals avoiding the sweep and defeating the Angels by a final score of 12-5. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Speaking of interviews, we will also talk with Chris Chelios at 4:15. We'll have Battlehawks head coach Anthony Becht on at 4:30, and then we'll talk with Jim Montgomery, Blues head coach, at 5 o'clock. After a massive Blues win, 2-1 in overtime, the Blues now have a 10-game win streak, and they'll take that win streak into Thursday night as they take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pre-game for that one starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. The Six-Pack is next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. Time for our Sports Six-Pack, at least part one of the Six-Pack. Andrew Marsh has your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line.
Question number 1.
From the 314, if the Blues were below 500, do you think more people would be at Busch Stadium, or was this inevitable?
I honestly feel like it was inevitable. I don't necessarily feel like there's any direct correlation to the Blues right now. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is the path that was going to be traveled. Following the last 2 seasons and some questionable press conferences, I feel like this was going to be inevitable.
I completely agree. I don't think this has anything to do with the Blues. The attendance for the Cardinals has nothing to do with the Blues. I think it has everything to do with the Cardinals. I think this has everything to do with the Cardinals fans that are willing to pay to have season tickets, just being fed up with the product. That's what I do. And it doesn't mean that they're not true baseball fans. It just means that they're not willing to spend their money on a product that has been mediocre for a long time going now. I mean, when was the last time you really were like, man, I'm paying for this product? Besides the Albert year.
Been a while.
Probably the year they went on that massive win streak.
Which was the Albert year.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
That was the year they lost to the Carey's Dodgers in the wild card round.
My bad.
Yeah, that was the 17-game heater, I think is what that was.
My apologies.
Anthony.
We'll allow it.
But that's been a long time.
You're forgiven.
To my point. That's been a long time. So, no, I don't think it has anything. I don't think the Blues being great has prevented the Cardinals from being sold out at Busch Stadium. I think that would happen. I think both places would be jam-packed if both products were good. Only one of the products right now. And we'll see about the Cardinals throughout the year. Maybe this is a season where the product turns around. But for right now, people aren't willing to pay.
Yesterday was the only game that I can recall that they had both teams playing at the same time, right?
So far?
Yeah.
Saturday was also...
It was a road game,
We were on the road, though.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
so
yep.
Both teams playing home.
I apologize.
At the same time. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think people are just, like you said, fed up with the product. Now, this season, so far, that they're 4-2, it has been better. The hitting looks much better. The timely hitting, scoring with runners in scoring position, all of those things look really good. You got your young stars finally doing some things that you like, okay, so far, so good. But I think people's feeling towards the team has nothing to do with the Blues. The Blues could be, the best team in the NHL or the worst team. I think people would not be showing up for the Cardinals because of the Cardinals. And I don't think all Blues fans are Cardinals fans or vice versa. I think you have a section, a large group of people, and we can tell by our YouTube numbers. Like, some people are just Cardinal fans, and they don't watch hockey. And they're not showing up to watch the Cardinals because they don't want to watch the Cardinals based on what they've done the last couple of years.
Right.
We get a text from the 636. If Stalter keeps apologizing, people are going to think he's Canadian.
Jamie doesn't apologize.
No, I don't apologize.
And he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sorry?
Quite honestly,
Sorry.
I'd rather die.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jamie's never going to give you a sorry.
No.
Or a sorry.
It's okay.
No? Okay.
I did nothing
Question
wrong.
number 2.
You never do.
That's right.
We'll get a question from the Brick House Gang. Has the mindset shifted from the Blues are playing with house money and that it doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs to it's a complete disappointment if they don't at least make it to the Western Conference Final or Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah, no, we're not there. Listen, let's just be honest here. Going into the Four Nations, what were they, 8 points out of a playoff spot? I think it was where they stood at that point. If they make the playoffs, which it looks like they will, but we don't want to go cashing checks beforehand, I think that's a massive success. We were all talking about, well, there were some people on this station, our midday show in particular, they were talking about losing more to get a higher pick at one point, which I never agreed with. But that's
who specifically? Was it
BK.
T-Bone? BK?
Yeah. Yep. He wasn't alone. Some other shows did it too. I think some TMA may have said some things there too. Because I was on there and they asked me about that. Do you think it'd be better? And I'm like, no, it's never better to lose.
TMA should just shut their mouths.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe. That's what I hear. Anyways, so no, I think making the playoffs is huge for the Blues. Do I think they can, conference final and Stanley Cup? I would love that.
Can we split the difference? Like they're not playing with house money anymore. It's not the house money team. This team is rolling. They might be playing with house money.
They're playing with house money because of how far back they were.
But we've transitioned. We've transitioned into like, oh, this team. Okay, so what I'm hearing, and Marsh, let me know if you're hearing the same thing.
Snarky Stalter.
What I'm hearing is Carey and Jamie don't actually believe.
That's not what I said.
Don't actually believe them.
And we know what happens when you don't believe.
Yeah. Anthony, you couldn't be more right, man. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, I don't agree at all.
Carey fell out of his chair when I said we win the Stanley Cup.
Well, that was like a month ago.
You did.
That was a month ago.
You didn't believe then.
And that was before the Four Nations tournament started. I think that the Blues are playing with house money. I think they have exceeded expectations for this season. And I think they are here. They're in a position to obviously make the playoffs. They should, knock on wood. There shouldn't be any slip-ups or anything like that. They are playing at an elite level. And so for me, if the expectation was to not even make the playoffs, and now here you are, a team that is in the playoffs and potentially a dangerous team for other teams to face, I think that's exceeding the expectations. So if you're knocked out in the first round or second round, I don't think it's a bad season. I think it's still a great season.
I think fans should be proud of what this team has done this year. And that's how I'll look at it. If they end up losing in the playoffs, I'll be proud of what I saw out of these guys. Coming from, so I wouldn't say so far back in the standings, but let's be honest, there's not a lot of people that, they were 8 points out.
8 points back, and all the other teams had games in hand.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not like 2019 where they're dead last, but it was still like an uphill climb. And based on what we saw throughout the year, you had no inclination that this team was probably actually going to do damage. They hadn't even won 3 games in a row, and now look where they're at. I'm just really proud of what this team has done and how they've come together.
Me too.
They've all come together. Yes. Carey doesn't like doing it.
Good teams too.
Yes.
I want y'all doing that.
Too.
Yep. Yeah.
Question number 3.
From the 636,
I'm on board. I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Be together here.
I believe in
synergy.
I believe in you guys.
Hockey skills. From the 636, how long will Dvorsky and Snuggerud need to be in the NHL before they will be hailed as the Blues version of Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane?
Wow. I don't know if it has to be a certain amount of time in the NHL. Probably a certain amount of success would have to get you there. I mean, they could be in the NHL for 12 years and not have that success.
Right.
So, listen, this is the one thing that I get it. We all compare players and we all, who do they remind you of? What could they be? And it's fun. It's a fun game. We all play it. Even I'm guilty of it sometimes. But really, we should just let these guys be. Let them create their own path in the NHL. If they're going to be superstars, then they'll do that. If they're going to be okay players or good players, that's what it'll be. Like, let's not go painting them as like Hall & Oates 2.0. Like, no.
Right.
Pump the brakes, because then you set yourself up for disappointment, or you set yourself up for being those people who hated Jordan Kyrou.
Mm-hmm.
That guy sucks. Why? Because he's making $8 million and you don't think he's worth it? Well, how you like me now?
Right.
He looks like he's every bit worth it now. And that's what I don't want to see happen to these two guys, is the expectations are so high that they can't win until they're proving for an extended period of time that they're great players, and then all of a sudden people change their opinions.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to continue our Sports Six-Pack. So part 2 is next. Keep those questions coming into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. The Sports Six-Pack, part 2 next.
question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
Part 2 of the Sports Six Pack. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service tax line. Keep those questions coming in. Marsh, hit us with question 4, please.
Question number 4.
All right, we get a text from the 636. What do the extensions for Holloway and Broberg look like this summer? And do you expect a revenge offer sheet from Edmonton in the near future?
Yeah, no chance of the revenge offer sheet. Edmonton's got their own problems going on there. They're going to have to sign Evan Bouchard and other guys coming up, and no chance of that happening. I think the extension should be 8 times 8 for both players. I mean, that's a healthy raise for both. That's a $4 million raise for Broberg. But if you go around the NHL right now and you find defensemen that are doing what he's doing, playing over 20 minutes a game, they're making $6.5 to $7 million easy. So if you're Doug Armstrong, you have to project as to what Philip Broberg could be, and he easily could be an $8 million defenseman. In fact, I think it'll be like a Colton Parayko thing where everybody, remember all those people, Anthony? Oh, it's a terrible contract. Go to Dave, whatever the hell his name is, Lecision, Dom. I mean, Dom.
Oh.
What? Did I say that?
Dumb decision?
Yeah, well, either way. Well, because they thought Colton Parayko was overpaid at $6.5 million. Okay. The same thing for Broberg could happen. To where at $8 million, people are like, well, he really overpaid. But 2 years from now, like, okay, he's a $10 million defenseman. We're going to be just fine. I mean, if Seth Jones makes $9.5 million, there's no reason Philip Broberg can't make $8. Mm-hmm. Now, for Dylan Holloway, it's a massive hike. But let's just go over this real quick here. How much, just Anthony, for the purposes of the exercise, how much is Jordan Kyrou making this year?
This year?
Yeah.
I think he's making 8.
$8 million. Okay. Robert Thomas.
8
million. So here are your Blues' top 3 scorers. Robert Thomas at 69 points in 64 games. It's a hell of a pace. It's a 90-point pace.
Yeah.
So he's definitely leading the pack. Your second scorer, Jordan Kyrou, 63 points in 76 games. And what's he making again?
8.
Okay. Your third top scorer, Dylan Holloway. 63 points in 76 games. Identical to what Jordan Kyrou is. Identical. The two Utes that we're talking about here, Kyrou and Holloway.
Nice.
So that's why I think give him $8 million. I mean, do you think he's going to get worse? No.
I don't think so.
He's just scratching the surface. He's got 26 goals. He'll probably get to 30 this year. Mm-hmm. So I would say to them, listen, we offer sheeted you both at the same time. We're going to do the same thing we did with Thomas and Kyrou. 8 times 8. Let's party.
Yeah.
And if the players don't take it, they're fools. Because 8 years from now, they'll be 31 years old. Plenty of time to get more money. Mm-hmm. And how do you turn down $64 million when you were playing in the minors last year?
I'm not. Yeah, not going to do it.
You know? So that's where I'm at with it.
Question number 5.
From the 636, who has it harder, Ollie Marmol in this roster construction, trying to get younger players in the lineup, or Jim Montgomery trying to develop young players in the midst of a playoff run?
Challenges on both sides, but you got to go with Ollie.
I agree.
He doesn't have. The offense looks really good right now. Starting rotation first time through, plus second start here for Sonny Gray. Not bad. But the roster construction, while the expectations are, hey, still win some games, and also, why don't you develop these guys? I realize that Jim Montgomery has a little bit of that, but not to the same extent as Ollie Marmol. So I would go with Ollie.
I totally agree. I mean, Jim Montgomery, at least Doug Armstrong has really filled up the cabinets for Jim Montgomery. Like, as far as veteran players are concerned, he's got solid veterans. You look at the Radek Foxes and the Oscar Sundquist, they're doing all the heavy lifting on their line. They're blocking the shots, doing all those gritty things that you need. And the young guys are flashy. Jim Montgomery is in way better shape as far as a roster is concerned than where the Cardinals are. But a year from now, the Cardinals might be in a different spot. But I would say definitely the Cardinals.
Same.
Question number 6.
From the 314, who are you most intrigued to see where they land in the NFL draft?
I want to see where Shedeur lands.
Yep.
I'm intrigued because I've heard from the first overall pick to number 20-something. Like I said, and that's a large gap. That's a large range for him to fall to if that's where it ends up being. But I'm intrigued to see which team decides to go and get him, because you've heard, we think he's too brash, he's a little bit cocky. And I think the young man is just confident in his ability, and he comes from a family that has extreme confidence. So why wouldn't he be confident in his ability? So yeah, it's definitely where Shedeur ends up going.
Me too. Anthony?
Travis Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Where does he land? What do they value him as? I think it's going to be as a cornerback first and foremost, but utilize him on offense. But where do they which teams value him? Is he going to be in the top 5? I would think so, somewhere in the top 5. But if he slips, is it a situation where teams just don't know what his top position is and they don't want to be caught in between? The other guy I'm interested in is Jackson Dart, the Ole Miss quarterback.
Yeah, he's kind of slipped into the first round conversation.
Does he wind up being a first rounder? Yeah. Does he wind up being an early second rounder? That quarterback that is in between first and second round, I think winds up being pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
Because we know Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are going to be taken in the first round. We'll see about Jackson Dart. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Time for the Gauntlet. We got a new Gauntlet contestant. You'll hear him next on 101 ESPN.
warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. 4 o'clock. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. With Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Chad. What's up, Chad?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Hope you're staying safe out there. Don't be driving and listening to the show while participating in the Gauntlet. So, Chad, we welcome you in.
Don't tell him what to do, Anthony.
Would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, Carey, or me today?
Anthony, I want to take you on today.
All right.
Yeah, because you just tried to tell him what to do. I don't blame you at all, Chad. I hope you kick his ass.
Chad, good luck.
All right. Anthony's going to make his way to the cone of silence. In the meantime, Chad, we're going to need to have you tell Marshy to spin the wheel, please.
All right, Marshy, spin that wheel. Not baseball, please.
Oh, you know the wheel is evil, Chad.
I know, but, I got to tempt fate.
All right. I like it. No risk it for the biscuit, right?
Oh.
So,
That's
Chad,
right.
How often do you listen to the Gauntlet?
Quite a bit.
Okay. So, what category does Anthony usually get?
Oh, random.
Well, recently, but let's go back 6 months.
Oof. Hockey?
Yeah, you got hockey, my friend.
All right.
Okay, so here's how it's going to work. 4 questions are all worth 2 points. If you use the options at any point and you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, you get 0 points. If we're tied after 4 questions, we will go to a tiebreaker. It's closest to the pin format, and we will get a winner here in the Gauntlet. Chad, are you ready?
I'm ready, Jamie.
All right, buddy. Hockey is the category. Question number 1. Dalibor Dvorsky played his first NHL game this season against which team?
Oh, come on, man. That was just a couple days ago. God, I'm going tomorrow night, and I was like, man, I really would have been like to have been there for that one, or like to have been there for the one that Snuggy just played at. I hate this. You got to give me the options.
All right. Was it the Nashville Predators, the Chicago Blackhawks, or the Seattle Kraken?
Definitely not the Kraken. I'm going to go with the Predators.
Final
answer.
Thank you.
Question number 2. Jimmy Snuggerud was selected in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. What draft position was he selected?
Ooh. I just heard this the other day, and I'm not going to remember that. No, I'm not.
Uh-oh. Chad, you still there?
Uh-oh.
We lost Chad.
Marshy, why don't you hang up quick and call him right back?
Mm-hmm. All right, well.
So this is interesting now. Did Chad hang up on purpose to Google?
Chad doesn't strike me as that kind of guy.
I don't think so, actually.
I think Chad is a decent fella.
No, he's not a scumbag.
He's probably listening to us right now like, man, I wish they hurry up and call me back.
Yeah.
There's a level of panic that
now if he comes back with the exact answer.
He's like, yeah, man. Whoa.
Hold up. Yeah. All right. Marshy's trying to get a hold of Chad here. Apparently Chad is driving through the Lincoln Tunnel right now.
The phone cut out. Mid-conversation.
Do we have him, Marshy? Okay, we got Chad back here. Chad, how we doing, bud?
I was in the garage and I got connected to my car.
Oh, my goodness. That's hilarious. All right, so I'll repeat the question for you. I think you were going for the options, but I'll repeat it anyways. Jimmy Snuggerud was selected in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. What draft position was he selected at?
Right. And I don't remember the exact number, but I think I'm going to know it when you give me the possibilities. So give me those.
Okay, go ahead, Carey.
Is it 13th, 17th, or 23rd?
God damn it, I was going to say 17th. 17th. Final answer.
All right.
Question number 3. Jimmy Snuggerud's father, Dave Snuggerud, played 6 seasons in the NHL. He played the most games with the team he started with. Name that team.
No, definitely need the options on that.
Options are the Buffalo Sabres, the San Jose Sharks, or the Philadelphia Flyers.
I'm going to go Flyers, but I'm not sure. I'm going to go Flyers. Final answer.
All right. Question number 4. Name the last team the Blues lost to.
Ooh.
It's been a while.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad that it's been a while. Buddy. Last loss. No, give me the options.
All right. Was it the LA Kings, the Pittsburgh Penguins, or the Dallas Stars?
Ooh. I think it's the Penguins, but it could be the Kings. Definitely not the Stars. Did we lose to the Kings? Oh, we've been in a couple of close ones with them recently. I'm going to go with the Penguins, and I hope I'm right. I definitely remember that loss. I'm going with the Penguins. Final answer.
All right. Let's get Anthony back in here. He's all by himself in the cone of silence. Poor guy.
It's very silent in there.
All by yourself, eh, bud?
All by myself.
That was a long time.
Well, we lost Chad. He walked into his garage and his phone connected to his car.
Okay.
And so we lost Chad. We got him back,
Glad
though.
he's okay.
Yeah. All right, Anthony. Category is hockey.
All right.
Pack a lunch.
Okay.
Question 1. Dalibor Dvorsky played his first NHL game this season against which team?
That would be the... it was just last week. It was the Predators? It was a Predator game. Yeah, Nashville Predators. Final answer.
Question number 2. Jimmy Snuggerud was selected in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. What position was he selected at?
Like overall.
Oh, like
What number?
Like number.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Not right wing.
forward. He's in the 20s. I need the options, though.
Is it 13th, 17th, or 23rd?
23rd. I'll take the only 20 there. 23rd, 23,
And me?
23rd. Final answer.
23 and me.
23 and me.
Question number 3. Jimmy Snuggerud's father, Dave Snuggerud, played 6 seasons in the NHL. He played the most games with the team he started with. Name that team.
Options.
Options are the Buffalo Sabres, the San Jose Sharks, Philadelphia Flyers.
Flyers. Final answer.
All right, final question. Name the last team the Blues lost to.
That would be the Pittsburgh Penguins. Final answer.
Okay. Let's go over this. Let's start right there. Question 4. Name the last team the Blues lost to. Chad, you said the Pittsburgh Penguins. Anthony, you also said the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carey, answer is...
It is the Pittsburgh Penguins.
But Anthony did not need the options. So Anthony up 2-1. Let's go to question 3. Jimmy Snuggerud's father, Dave Snuggerud, played 6 seasons in the NHL. He played the most games with the team he started with. Name that team. Chad, you said the Philadelphia Flyers. Anthony, you also said the Philadelphia Flyers. Marshy, answer is...
It is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, he ended his career with the Philadelphia Flyers.
The old Buffaloes.
This is true. Okay, let's go to question number 1. Dalibor Dvorsky played his first NHL game this season against which team? Chad said the Nashville Predators. Anthony said the Nashville Predators. Carey, answer is...
It is the Nashville Predators.
But Anthony did not need the options. So Anthony is up 4-2 here. Final question. Jimmy Snuggerud was selected in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. What draft position was he selected at? Chad, you said 17. Anthony said, it's in the 20s. I know it's in the 20s. Give me the options.
Is that what I sounded like?
Yeah, a little bit. That's my version of it. So you landed on 23.
Yeah.
Chad.
You have chosen poorly. poorly.
It was 23, Chad. Anthony got you in hockey today, buddy.
I should have went with Marshy. What was I thinking?
Well, I don't know. You sound like a nice guy, so Marshy might have taken you out behind the woodshed, though.
That's true.
Well, I didn't want to run into Jamie with hockey. I mean, come on.
Makes sense. I don't blame you on that one. Chad, thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, buddy. And be careful out there.
Man. But be careful out there.
Well, have fun.
Speaking of, a little bit of a shout out here to our guy Corey with our friends over at Dirt Cheap. They recognized our birthday month and dropped by some presents for us.
Man, did they?
Never going to turn down Blanton's.
No.
Each of us got a bottle of Blanton's.
Much
to which,
appreciated.
I mean, we are thrilled. So we really appreciate Corey.
Big time, thank you.
He's a listener and a great guy, a friend of ours, too. So.
Corey, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll definitely be
Very much.
celebrating. Definitely be celebrating the birthday month of March.
You don't mix it with Coke, okay?
No, and
don't mix it.
you guys told me to drink it in a solo cup.
Yeah,
right?
red solo cup.
Yeah.
Find your favorite mixer and mix it right now. Of course, no, do not do
with
that.
Blanton's,
Nope. All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. We're going to talk to the one and only Chris Chelios next about a very important event coming up here in St. Louis. And, of course, we'll get some hockey stories out of him as well. Chris Chelios next in the Fast Lane. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got over 800 new and used vehicles, and it's all in one location. They boast the best selection in town. It's not one of these dealerships that you search online, you look at their inventory, and then when you drive out to the dealership, they're like, nah, it's at another location, or, oh, we have to go get that car from Idaho. No, not at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Right off I-55 in McNaughton, Herculaneum, just minutes from South County. No scavenger hunt required when it comes to finding your next new ride. It's available at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. Don't forget, they also have their complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and a 30-day return promise. So you get a little peace of mind when it comes to that 30-day return promise. Within 30 days, if you're not completely satisfied with the vehicle, bring it back. They'll give you a full refund. Forget overpaying. These vehicles are priced to move. And if your credit's seen better days, no problem. The credit experts can help any credit situation. Check them out online at AutoCentersNissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan. Big inventory, bigger savings, zero nonsense.
Fast Lane 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers with Anthony Stalter and Super Bowl champion Carey Davis alongside Andrew Marsh. We head out to the celebrity hotline, and boy, do we have a celebrity today. Let's welcome in our guy, Chris Chelios. Chelly, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, Revs. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. So you're coming into town for the puck cancer game. I believe you were here last year, too, weren't you?
I was. I mean, you could probably still hear the fans booing me and Eddie Belfour.
So that actually leads me to my next question, Chelly. I follow you on Instagram and a couple other guys, Chaser too. You're doing an awful lot of things with the Blues these days. Are you trying to earn your honorary Blues card?
No, this is just the alumni sticking together. My allegiance is to the Hawks, but
I don't know, Chelly.
And it's all, obviously we had our time back in the, for me anyway, the 90s with Hawks in St. Louis and Minnesota, Detroit. But all's good now. All those guys that hated each other all get along, and it's fun to visit the other cities and help out Chaser with his events. So I'm looking forward to it. It was a great time last year having Garth Brooks, Dirk Bentley, and Dave Coolio and all the guys I hadn't seen for a long time that I played with and against.
Chris, what was it like playing as a member of the Blackhawks or the Red Wings and coming into St. Louis and this crowd knowing what the rivalry was? Can you describe it as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it's one, back in those days where we played each other 8 times a year, basically, and that's how those rivalries built up. And then, obviously, playing each other in the first round of the playoffs, which was war. I forget the name of the Massacre Day or whatever. I can't, the
St. Patrick's Day.
Bunch of brawls. They all mixed together. But there were so many of those happening back in the day, and it's not like our division was tearing it up. I guess we did pretty well in the 90s, but for a time there, they were calling it the Snorris division. That was before I got there. But no, it made for great hockey and great rivalries, and I think the fans loved it.
Chris, you were born and raised in the city of Chicago. How important or how awesome was it for you to be able to play 9 years of your professional career with the Blackhawks?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty special, especially from someone from Chicago. It's more often happens in Canada with guys from Ontario or Alberta, British Columbia. But, there's a bunch of us now, but, from my age, back in the day, there wasn't too many. I think me and Eddie Olczyk, a guy named Bates Battaglia, Tony Granato eventually. But it was special. It could have been a disaster had I got traded, to Winnipeg, which almost happened. But to come back home, play 9 years, unfortunately didn't win the cup, but had some great years.
Chelly, let's talk about that just for a second, because I grew up watching you with Montreal and loved the way you played. And then you go to Chicago, and then you leave Chicago and go to Detroit. And we know how passionate the Blackhawks fans are. And I've heard you tell this story, but what was it like going back to Chicago the very first time wearing the Detroit Red Wing jersey?
Yeah, I'd like to think of myself a guy who had thick skin, but that one hurt. Yeah, having your hometown fans where you grew up, especially after the 8 years that I put in here, and I got it. Detroit rivalry. I said I'd never play for Detroit at one point. They got me on an interview doing that, but things changed quick. And fortunately for a time there, it looked like until I won a cup with Detroit, it looked like a place I'd have nowhere to live. So I was really concerned about that. Probably would have had to go to California where no one knew me, but it worked out. I won my cups. The Hawks went and won 3 cups while I was gone. All was forgotten, and it's great to be back home.
Chris Chelios joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. So, Chris, what can you tell us about a young Jamie Rivers, either as you were playing against him or as a teammate in Detroit?
Well, off the ice, great teammate, great team guy. Like I said, it's one of the, again, I say Jamie, when I played against him, I couldn't stand him. And then when I got to know him and as a teammate, he was great. And then on the ice, just hardworking, honest player, drop him when he had to, but just solid, steady Eddie defenseman.
I paid him to say that.
He saved all the bad things for
like Shelly needs my money.
Yeah.
Chris, I was thinking about, you talked about the 90s and being in Chicago and having those matches against Detroit and St. Louis. What was the hardest part? Like, it feels like the game is so much different now than it is then. What was the hardest part about playing against those teams and competing with those guys?
Geez, not having a charter airplane. Jesus Christ. That was a day-and-a-half trip was a 3-day trip in the same suit, smelling like cigarettes, and the 4 people that had to sit next to us. But no, you know what? Like I said, it was the physical part for sure. Knowing that you're in for a war every time, and then playing out of your division was just a breath of fresh air because you could actually go out and play hockey and not have to worry about getting run and playing that type of physical. Playoffs it's expected, but regular season to do that, it takes its toll. And like I said, it was tough hockey, really rough hockey, not just the fighting.
Yeah, so, Chelly, I've always wanted to ask you this question. You got under guys' skin. Guys hated playing against you, and for just cause, too. You were mean as hell out there, and, I mean, I loved the way you play. You know that. I loved you as a teammate, loved the way you played. But you had a lot of enemies in the league, on the ice, off the ice. Everybody knows you're a great guy. Who's the one guy, maybe the most hated guy for you that you played against, where he doesn't have to be a tough guy, could be a skilled player, just somebody you always wanted to get under their skin or even hurt them?
Well, there's one guy that for sure I hated playing against him the most, and I don't think I ever got under his skin, was that Dale Hunter. I don't know if you played with him or I know you played against him, but this guy was, to me, I look at him and it's like looking at the devil. So he just, and he was a good player. He's effective, but, boy, he got the best of me over the course of my career. But I didn't enjoy it. It's something like Montreal. I didn't do it a whole lot, but what eventually ended up happening was I had to play against the other team's top players. And back then they weren't real tough. You're going after guys that really weren't fighters. So I didn't enjoy the role, but it was a really, it was a role that someone had to be the bad guy. And then, as a skilled player, I wanted to win so bad, and then in the playoffs maybe took it a little bit too far sometimes. But at the end, like I said, Keenan brought out the worst in me and the best, I would say, in those Chicago days, really undisciplined. But then, when I got to Detroit and Scotty Bowman and the discipline game they played, it really did change my game when I got to Detroit.
Yeah, so for me, I hated 2 players. I hated Rick Tocchet and Ty Domi. For the reasons is that both of those guys, Chelly, as you know, they could skate. They dumped a puck and put it in your corner. They'd run you through the glass. And if you had a problem, they had no problem answering the bell at the same time. So those are the guys I hate. And they kind of fell into my weight class because they weren't really big guys. And you know that, that sucks because you're sitting there going, he's going to try and run my head through the glass again here. Yeah,
you're a middleweight, so you'd have to fight the lightweights, the middleweights, the heavyweights. I was lucky. I never got into that heavyweight. But you're right. Talk was nobody tougher and skilled player. I had a tough time with him in the finals when we lost to them in Pittsburgh. He's a beast. And then Domi, that's a whole different element there. He's crazy. So, yeah.
Chris Chelios joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. A couple of more questions for the NHL great. Chelly, when you watch today's game, which player do you kind of gravitate toward watching the most? It's somebody that is just like, man, if this guy played in my day, I'd have to mark him constantly.
Well, for sure, McKinnon. Watching him live, TV doesn't serve him any justice. How he's a bull, and he got the skill. He doesn't seem to get tired ever. He could be physical. He could, play any type of game, and he'd be a handful. I think I compare him. Keith Tkachuk wasn't the type of skater he was, obviously, but he was just a power forward, Chucky, that I had a whole lot of trouble with. And, he's notorious for coming to the front and bumping you first before you bumped him and getting position on you. But that McKinnon, night in and night out that I've watched him, he really impresses me. And there's a lot of other great players, but I like those big guys that are built for playoffs, and he's one of my favorites.
Chelly, one last thing for you here before we talk about your tequila and things like that. What did you think of the Four Nations? Because I remember you're Mr. USA yourself, and the '96 World Cup was a bit of a bloodbath. How did you like the Four Nations?
I loved it, but I wished it was a great game, that second game, and it could have went either way. But I wished we were down McAvoy and down Matthew Tkachuk, and I think that had a big bearing on the way they came out, because had they come out the second game and not worried about taking penalties and spending it all It was great. I can't say one bad thing about it. The good thing is we had players that didn't make the team, as did Canada, but we have that depth now. You guys like Keller, Tage Thompson, Kaner was left off the roster. I'm looking forward to the Olympics because it'll be a bigger roster. And if there's any injuries or someone doesn't play up to their potential, you get a chance to throw in another guy who's a quality player. But overall, it was great for hockey. That first game, those guys fighting right off the hop, that's what, really got everybody watching that second game. So the league should learn from that. You can't do that all the time. You saw the injuries in just those two games, but each one of those players on both teams really spent it, and it was really entertaining.
Yeah, it was. I loved every minute of it as well. So, Chelly, I'm also excited to find out about your new tequila, El Bandito Yankee Tequila. You're going to be here in town tomorrow night, and there'll be a signing meet and greet from 6 to 7:30 at Royals Liquor on 5th Street in St. Charles. So please, if you're in town, go check that out. Go say hi to Chelly. But tell me about it. Walk me through this. I know that Holly had the Coda going, and now you're involved with the El Bandito Yankee Tequila. What got you going?
Yeah, I mean, COVID, like everybody else, you had too much time sitting around, and that's what happened. We were sitting around drinking. My partner, Jim Bob Morrison, decided we're going to come up with a clean, additive-free tequila and have some fun with it. And it's 4 years new now, and it's been a great experience. Places we've been, events we've been, and I like it. Like anything else, I'm not going to go tell you, alcohol. There's no good alcohol for it, but in moderation, this is as good as it gets. And the people in Missouri, like we're in Missouri and all over, like 17, 18 states now, and it's been a great experience. And like you said, it's I've been in the restaurant bar business my whole life, and I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. And I thought it'd be easier, but instead of being in one place, now I've got to be all over the place. So I might have misjudged that one, but it's been great, and we get a lot of support, especially in Chicago because of the hometown. We're based out of Bloomington, Illinois. We've done really well here, but it's fun. It's a hobby, and it's been a great experience.
Well, I look forward to getting a case of this from you soon, Chelly. Much appreciated, of course, in advance. Get the hometown discount for you.
You can buy them at liquor stores. I love you, Riz. I'll give you a bottle.
I love you too, buddy. Hey, listen, thanks a lot for joining us here. Good luck with the meet and greet tomorrow night. Again, we'll put that out on the airwaves again for you here in a little bit.
Thank you.
And then I'll see you Friday night, buddy. Be played in that game. We'll have a chance to have some fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at that roster. I got a bunch of guys that pulled the shoot and they're coaching now, and they're still younger than us. So anyway,
we'll reunite back there, buddy.
You bet.
All right, Chelly, thanks a lot, man. Take care, bud.
All right, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was hockey legend Chris Chelios in more ways than one.
Fantastic.
I have to say this. One of the greatest teammates I've ever had in my life. I mean, he's the guy, call him at 3 a.m., he's got you.
Yeah.
He just, unbelievable guy. He was a great teammate.
Anthony Becht of the Battlehawks will join us next on 101 ESPN.
All right, I am looking at the NHL tonight. The New York Rangers hosting the Minnesota Wild, who are right behind the Blues. Rangers at -165 on the money line. But I'm going to go with the over-under, 5.5. I think we're going to get over on that one. And I'm going to head right over to Circus Sports Illinois, open up my app, and I know they've got the best odds of any of the apps that are out there. You can download them, check it out. Circa Sports has the best odds, and that's why I choose them every night when I'm placing a little bet here and there. They've also got great lines for all of their futures bets, tight money line splits. They don't need promos either. The promos and the payout. And the payout comes because they have the best odds out there available. They got high betting limits. It's super user-friendly to use. Derek Stevens, the owner of Circa Las Vegas, put his heart and soul into developing this app, and you're going to absolutely love it. So please don't miss out on the action. Download Bet Like a Pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals with a big win today. They avoid the sweep against the Angels, a 12-5 victory. The Blues also picked up a huge win last night in overtime, 2-1 the final. You know who else had a big victory this past weekend? That's right, it is your St. Louis Battlehawks. And we're going to talk with Battlehawks head coach Anthony Becht next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We're talking Battlehawks with the head coach. It's time for Anthony Becht's Call-In.
Presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home of the Battlehawks box.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Callagher and Thompson phone lines. We're joined by our guy, head coach Anthony Becht of the St. Louis Battlehawks. And, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. What a victory it was last week. You guys absolutely dominated. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, really proud of the players, the work and determination these guys have put together in training camp, and it all paid off. So, you know, we were counting on a lot of players to really, you know, come through for us, and they showed up, and that's what it's all about. So the execution level was a premium, and I'm just proud of everybody's performance.
Hey, Coach, there was a lot of talk going into the season just about the quarterback position for you guys, and your last game, Manny Wilkins gets in there. Just throws for 189 yards, you know, nothing crazy, but, you know, what did you think of his performance?
You know, that's a lot of media talk and fan talk, right? Internally, we feel confident about what we got Manny did exactly what I needed him to do. And quite frankly, we got a whole room of quarterbacks that are ready to go. So, we just, I think the biggest thing, guys, is putting a team together and building a team together so that, we don't have to lean on one particular position. But I thought Manny was really efficient, did a great job.
Anthony, we had Lucas Dennis on last week, and he talked about getting that shutout and things that you feel like you can correct after that.
Yeah, Donnie and his staff were upset. But, listen, when a team's down by 31 points, they're going to do a lot of things, spread it out. They changed quarterbacks. They had a guy running around and doing different things. So, yeah, like I said, it's a great performance from top to bottom. I thought up to that last drive, the defense played phenomenal.
Coach, your running game was on point as well. What does it do for your offense when you can basically do what you want in the ground game, and you put a lot of pressure on a defense when your quarterback is also mobile?
Yeah, the offensive line, we got a lot of continuity there with 4 returning starters. Abdul Beecham's at right guard, did a phenomenal job, played 2 games for us last year. And we broke the rushing record. So, to me, it takes a lot of pressure off. It allows you to do a lot of different things, and that was a goal. I challenged the offensive line to come out and play with violence. And they did. So, kudos to those guys. Doesn't mean anything moving forward, for next week, but it gives these guys the confidence they need to do the things they have to do to get better.
Anthony, you talked about the rushing attack, and Manny Wilkins did add to the rushing attack with 43 yards. How difficult is it as a coach and as a staff when you have to face a quarterback? You talked about the mobility of the Roughnecks quarterback when they changed them. How difficult is it for you all when you have to face a mobile quarterback, and how much work goes into that week when you're facing a guy like that?
Yeah, well, Carey, we got 3 guys that can do it at a high level, so that really puts the pressure on our defense every single day, and that's what I wanted. I'm tired of seeing quarterbacks do it to us on 3rd and long, converting first downs with their legs, and we got to be better at it, and that's, those are the type of quarterbacks we have that can bring that element. And for us, it's not about being a runner. You got to be a passer first, but having the ability to pull it, put some pressure on the ends, whoever that may be, it just opens a lot of things up for your running backs and the passing game and the play action game.
Coach, you got the Brahmas coming to town here for your first game at the Battle Dome. What do you expect from the Brahmas, and what do you tell some of your players that haven't played here yet in St. Louis in front of these awesome fans?
Yeah, we talked about it today after practice. What an exciting time for us. The fact that we get 6 home games in the regular season is just really phenomenal for us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate playing in front of our fan base, and I really do hope that our fans show up. I know there's a lot of other pro teams, maybe not in the area this week, so really gives everybody an opportunity to give it a try. I just want to see a lot of new fans, new faces, and the players are excited. They're really amped up. We had a great day of practice today, and that's what it's all about. San Antonio is an outstanding team. I don't really care about what their score their last game was. We know that this is a divisional opponent, a team that basically took away our hopes and dreams last year, and we got to be ready to go and play at a better level than we did last time.
Coach Anthony Becht to the Battlehawks joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Coach, it's never easy to win football games, so let's throw that out. But when it comes to you having now several years of experience and you get to know some of these opponents, not that their roster doesn't ever change, but how beneficial is it that you've got not only yourself but some returning coaches and some returning players that when you scout an opponent like the Brahmas that you might have an edge?
Well, I think there's always turnover in these spring leagues. I think San Antonio has 26 new players of the 50. We have some guys returning and some guys that are doing some things for the first time for us. And, like I said, I think every year you got to re-coach, reteach, remotivate your players. There is no turnover. Just because you won the year before in a spring league doesn't guarantee you anything. So we're always rebooting. And honestly, we had some adversity in the offseason. We had a new coordinator step in 3 weeks before training camp. We got new quarterbacks, all that stuff. So I love that because for me, it puts everything on speed dial for me, and that helps me. So when those things change down the road and I get my next opportunity where we have plenty of time to figure things out, this really does get you dialed in and focused as a head coach. So we take it head on, and like I said, nothing guaranteed to us, but again, really looking forward to just doing what we did last year and taking those steps.
Coach, you all have a lot of guys on your roster that have NFL experience, be it games played or being in training camp with teams. How important is that to you, and do you talk about that with them? It feels like your team has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and I'm wondering if it comes from you as well, just knowing that these guys have had that opportunity to keep going forward and keep pressing forward and playing as hard as they can every week.
Yeah, Carey, I am pissed off. I want to win championships. I want to win championships for the city. I want to win championships for our players. And I know what it takes. I know what needs to be done. And I need guys to follow. And, so far they've been outstanding. And you're right. I want to get guys that are right there on the cusp of knocking down the door of the NFL, because they've been in those buildings and they know the importance of it and how hard it is. So if I can get that temperament from them and fill those holes and help those guys, then ultimately, I don't have to police the team every single day. I can get players that have done it, are great leaders, been good players wherever they came from, and they can help kind of spread that message. So, yeah, you're right. We're all pissed off and we want to be better, but we take it one day at a time.
Love it. Coach, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And go get them this Sunday. Or this weekend. We'll see you at the Dome.
St. Louis, show up. Go Battlehawks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I'm sure they'll be there in droves.
Yeah.
They always are. I love that. I love that out of Coach Becht. He's fired up.
Yeah.
He talks every week. Like, look, the expectation is winning a championship. He's not going to mince words on that.
Well, they had a good season last year, fell short by a game. I'm sure that didn't sit well during the offseason.
No.
And they're playing the team. I could hear it in his, you can hear it. Like, I know I can hear it. Like, he's fired up about this opportunity to play this game. Again, you can't correct or fix what happened last year, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can put your team in a position, like, I'm sure he's talking to those guys like, these guys ended your playoff hopes, your dreams, your aspirations last year. Let's go take it to them. Let's go beat the hell out of them. Let's not give them an inch and take care of business. And I think that's what the mindset that he has right now. I'm excited about it.
That's Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We've got Bet the Board next. Baseball fans, as you know, the season is now underway, and if you want to play at Underdog Fantasy, you can, because it's in our state. Underdog Fantasy is available in Missouri, and Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can win a ton of money just for playing for as little as $1. Just $1, and you can turn that into $1,000 just with your baseball knowledge. All you have to do to play, download the app, and I got a special offer for you in a second, but choose players that are either going to go higher or lower in your opinion when it comes to their stats. So strikeouts, maybe you just line up a whole bunch of pitchers tonight, and you're like, you know what, I like this pitcher to go higher on his strikeouts. I like this pitcher to go lower. I think he might get shelled and he won't go deep into the game. How you want to play, it's up to you. But again, all you have to do is choose higher or lower on those stats, collect a bunch of players that you really like in those stats, and then collect a bunch of money. You can play for as little as $1. Like I mentioned before, if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Just download the Underdog app. Sign up now using my promo code Anthony to unlock that special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. You can join in on the fun by signing up after you download the Underdog app. Use my promo code Anthony, just my first name on that, and then you can claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Jamie, you already know this because you've called our guy Stewie, but when he hands out that, and we hand out that number, 314-324-4440, and we say that's his personal cell phone number, realize, listener, that it's the same number Jamie and I use.
Yep.
It doesn't go to an office. You're not put on hold forever. I had a question for Stewie yesterday. Guess what number I called, Jamie?
314-324-4440.
That's correct. Stewie picked up right away, threw some questions at him. He was phenomenal, like he always is. I'm like, hey, I got an interesting situation here. Let me walk you through it. And he goes, no problem. Told me what he needed. I got it to him. And already he's reaching out to me and saying, hey, let's talk. Stewie's the best, man. And when it comes to finding a loan, debt consolidation, refi, Stewie's your guy.
Yeah, he should be your first call, too. And even if you're working with a real estate agent who have their preferred lender, which is fine, Stewie just asks that you get a second opinion. And you give him a call, text him, and talk about your situation. And you know, I've talked about how great it was working alongside Stewie. It was so easy. It was like a little checklist he had, and every other day was something new, and he was taking care of it. And before I knew it, I was in my new home. And it was a large part thanks to Stewie and what he did to help me get in there. So please give him a call. Again, that phone number, 314-324-4440.
314-324-4440.
Can't remember that. It's so easy. What can you do?
You can always Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
Time to bet the board here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, what do we got for our standings?
All right, so the first day saw all of us but Jamie Rivers get a point.
Oh, what was my bet again, guys?
Oh, you had the Boston Bruins money line.
It's crazy.
And they lost by 1.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You almost had him.
You almost had him.
I almost cussed there.
All right. I will take Carey's Los Angeles Dodgers on the run line, -1.5 at -130. They're a juggernaut. Major League Baseball wants them to win 162 games, so I might as well be smart and just back them.
I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani. Not hits, runs, RBI.
But.
Ohtani, 2+ bases tonight. 2+ bases. At -120.
Okay.
I'm going to go Mookie Betts. 1.5 hits, runs, RBI at -150.
All right.
You want to go ahead and close this circle? I can give you a Dodgers bet if you'd like.
No.
Okay.
No, you can leave me alone, quite honestly. The Avalanche play the Blackhawks tonight. Shouldn't be much of a game, so I'm going with my power play point. Nathan McKinnon is +140. Register a power play point.
All right. Also got some news from the St. Louis Blues. Remember we were talking about, Jamie and I love the idea.
Yeah, apparently they didn't feel the same way.
No.
They heard that and they said, no, let's end this.
Yep. We don't even want this to be discussed anymore. Jamie came up with a great idea, especially since you were playing the Penguins specifically tomorrow. Yeah. Why not put the three youngsters together? Zach Bolduc, Dvorsky, and Snuggerud. The Blues heard that, and the Blues decided to send Dvorsky to the AHL.
Corresponding move to them. Hearing that was Dalibor Dvorsky back to Springfield.
That's correct. Yeah.
Sorry, Dalibor.
Monty, we'll talk to Jim Montgomery in 10 minutes. That will now no longer be a question.
No, that stinks. I would like to hear his answer to that one. But you knew it was coming. The one thing with young players is you have to play. You can't risk developing these guys. He's only 19 years old. He's playing pretty much every situation down in the American Hockey League. Get him back there, get him some reps. It doesn't mean he won't be back at some point this season. Certainly if the Blues make the playoffs and Springfield doesn't, he will absolutely be back to practice with the team. And you just had too many guys sitting out. Last game you had Joseph, Texier, and Dvorsky. You're trying to find ice for everybody. And now that Snuggy's part of the mix, I still don't know what the lineup will look like tomorrow night, if Snuggy will get a second appearance or not. At this point, I would definitely play him tomorrow night and then maybe give him a breather against the Avs, because that's a whole other level for a kid, But who knows? Maybe he can handle it.
Yeah, I would have loved to see it, but I get it. So I guess now the question is, like, what do you think, Jamie, what do you think the timeline is for these young players? If you're forecasting a little bit, because you know more about the Blues roster, the roster construction, some of the salary situations.
Yeah. I mean, the timeline is right now, really. I mean, like, Snuggy's here for now. And if you're talking about being a regular on the team, it's got to be next season. Both of these guys have had a little sniff here. Dalibor Dvorsky got one game. Who knows how many Snuggy will get ultimately. I would anticipate probably more than one game. And then, it's kind of like go time for them. Next year, training camp, you want those two players to come to camp stealing jobs from players.
Man, the timelines are matching up.
It's crazy.
Like, suddenly the timeline is perfect.
Yeah.
What you have now with the young core, with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, Jake Neighbors, matching that up with some of the young guys that you've brought in Broberg and Holloway, and now, of course, the real young players in Dvorsky and Snuggerud and Bolduc. I mean, it is all matching up.
Well, think about your forward group, the possibility of next year at some point. Thomas, Kyrou, Holloway, and this is just young players. Thomas, Kyrou, Holloway, Jake Neighbors, Zach Bolduc. You've got Dvorsky. You've got Snuggerud. Like, that's good.
That's exciting.
That's exciting. And it feels to me like this Blues team could be set up long-term now to be a part of the playoffs for, the foreseeable future. And when everything lines up correctly, maybe be a team that's going to give it a push and be a contender.
Definitely.
Who knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe it's this year, the way they're playing. Like,
maybe.
You never know, but the future does look really good with a lot of these young players.
It does. And we're to the point now where I know they're young in age, but they're not the young players anymore. Robert Thomas and Jordan Cairo are going to be the old veteran guys here shortly. They are guys that have been around for a while and, know what it takes to have success in this league. And that's what you want. You want to have your older veteran. You have guys that are veterans but not old in age. And then you have the younger guys that are coming in and pushing for opportunities to play more and get more time on the ice. This team, in my opinion, is set up really well for the future. And if they get into the playoffs, which, again, it doesn't look like they will, they could be a headache for some teams that they're going to face.
No doubt.
This almost reminds me of where the Cardinals at. If the Cardinals had made the playoffs last year, then they're transitioning into younger guys, and then they have that playoff experience. But unfortunately for them, they didn't. It just seems like the Blues are a little bit ahead in their timeline, which is really good to see.
Well, and the Blues, in fairness to the Cardinals, the Blues started their retool ahead of the Cardinals. So the fact that they're ahead in the retool makes sense. So we'll see ultimately where both teams end up. I hope both teams end up being, perennial playoff teams again.
Yeah. The Blues also, as we've talked about, they jump-started things with the Broberg and Holloway acquisitions.
That changed everything, man.
It's an injection.
Yeah.
So good for them, but I agree ultimately with what you're saying with the Cardinals and the Blues, hopefully being on a similar timeline of success. All right, we're going to talk to Jim Montgomery, Blues head coach, following last night's victory. We'll get him on, talk to him about Snuggerud's debut and much more about this winning streak. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Talk with the head coach of your St. Louis Blues, Jim Montgomery. Coach Monty is presented by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
5 o'clock, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We head to the Callyer and Thompson phone line where the head coach of our St. Louis Blues, Jim Montgomery, joins us. Monty, how are you?
Gentlemen, I am good on this Wednesday afternoon, despite the rain.
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of rain, but only celebrations last night. But here's the thing, Coach. I've been under strict instructions by Jamie, of course, who always tries to control everything. You know that.
Yeah, right.
I apparently have to ask you, Coach, what happened on the street or the sidewalk down in Nashville? You got some story for us?
Oh, man, this is the best story ever. Jamie and I are out going for a jog, you know, keeping in shape like we like to.
Sure.
Yeah, and we get stopped by this rabid Blues fan. He's wearing a Blues golf shirt or sweatshirt. I don't remember exactly. But he's like, Jamie. He goes, Jamie, is that you, Rivers? He goes, yeah. He goes, man, I loved you as a player, and even more, you do a great job on TV. And he looks at me and he goes, hi, I'm Greg.
You didn't know who Monty was?
Did you tell him, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Jim?
No, he didn't.
No, Jim and I looked at each other and like we were like, man, you got to get on TV more often. You know, and we just had it was really innocent and really funny. Ribs and I.
Oh, it was
great.
He looks at Monty and he says, well, you look familiar. And he says, hi, my name is like Greg or whatever. And he goes, Monty my name is Jim. And just left it at that. Just left it out there. And then the guy walks away. He says, oh, yeah, Jamie, keep it up. Love the
show. That's incredible.
I turn and I go, I suck on that, Mark.
That's awesome. Coach, I would like to think at this point, after 10 consecutive wins, that maybe old Greg will know you now. But last night, I love what you said post-game when you were asked if you felt like the storm coming for you guys in the third period, like it felt that your team was coming on, and you're like, no, that's why we pulled the goalie so quickly. Do you as a coach, do you have like a great feel for where everybody is right now? Are you also firing in all cylinders when it comes to making decisions?
Oh, you know, I think the ego in a coach always says yes, but you know, right now, I can probably do anything behind the bench, and these guys are going to make me look good. I've always said this, that players win hockey games, and, you know, right now, our players are making the staff and management and, you know, thankfully, look really good.
Coach, I was going to ask you, Snuggerud got his first opportunity to play last night. What did you think of his performance? How well did he do?
I thought he was excellent, you know, because his University of Minnesota team lost in the first round of the conference Big Ten championship. So that was only his second game in 2.5 weeks. And when you factor that in, and it's his first NHL game, he looked like he belonged. He skated like he belonged, and he made plays like he's not only going to belong, but he's going to have a lot of success.
Monty, you guys are on a 10-game heater. I mean, it's an awesome feeling for you guys. It's fun to watch, but there's always challenges that present themselves. What are some of the challenges right now as a coaching staff with a team that has won 10 games in a row?
Well, the lucky thing for us and the motivating thing is we're still pushing to make the playoffs. So that kind of makes it easy. I would say the hardest thing right now is trying to make sure everyone's getting as much ice time as they deserve. Because the first two lines deserve a lot of ice time, but our bottom two lines deserve a ton as well. Because we've won some games where our fourth line is the reason why we won, and that's why we're a really good team. It's the identity of a pack of wolves and not the lead wolf.
Coach, when you, I'm interested in this because I feel like for you know the impact of a veteran player. But when a player like Cam Fowler comes from the outside, there's still some question of, okay, how's he going to fit? How's he going to fit with this group? And how am I going to maximize his ability that's already there? What has Cam Fowler meant to your team during this stretch run?
No, I think he's meant confidence because of his extraordinary play. He's meant poise because his heartbeat never seems to get above 100. He's cool, calm, and collected in the heat of the battle, and he seems to rise when the battle gets to be at its top. And I think his enthusiasm, even though he doesn't outwardly show a lot of emotion, but his enthusiasm to be back in a playoff race and to be playing games that matter at this time of the year is great energy for our entire group to witness. And that's the same thing with Jake Neighbors and all of our young players that are going through this for the first time.
Speaking of defenseman, Coach, a couple of weeks ago you said you wouldn't be surprised if Parayko beat that 6-week timeline. Do you have any update? Can you break some news here with us and let the whole city of St. Louis know?
No pressure.
No pressure. I do believe he's going to beat the 6 weeks. Now, we're only coming up on 4 weeks on Monday since he had his procedure. So it's not imminent, but it's not going to be 2.5 weeks.
Hey, Monty, when your team is successful like this and you've got guys that you're putting in the lineup, taking guys out, like Texier ends up scoring a couple of goals. He's in the lineup. Then he comes out of the lineup. Matthew Joseph has been a real good soldier here for an extended period of time, but then he comes out of the lineup, and Jimmy Snuggerud goes into the lineup. How hard is it as a coaching staff to break that news to those players and then keep those guys invested at the same time?
Yeah, it's not easy, especially when those guys have done such a great job, like you said. They're a big reason why we're part of this run. Matthew Joseph has had huge blocks, huge penalty kills, and scored some huge goals on that line with Sonny, the 70s line, and Bolduc. And same thing with Tex. You know, and the thing that we tell them is that you're a big part of why we're on this run, and you're going to be a big part of the run that we continue to be on.
Coach, what about the play of your goaltenders right now? I mean, uncharacteristic mistake last night from Jordan Binnington when he played the puck behind the net, but what a play by Nick Leddy. But I imagine you don't have to say too much to your goaltenders right now.
No, I don't say too much to the goaltenders as it is. But that being said, Jordan Binnington is one of the main leaders in our locker room. He has a great pulse on the team. He has a great feel for what to say, when it really matters, especially when dealing with the media. And I think Hof is just a great, talented young goaltender. And the two of them, and I said this since I've been here, I think they're the best tandem in the NHL. And that's why we can go on a run like we're on.
Well, I need to know something about that. You had a heck of a tandem in Boston as well while you were there. Coach, a couple more things here, but one thing in particular, we talked about Jimmy Snuggerud already, and that, this first game, there were a lot of positives to pull out of that. Is Jimmy Snuggerud going to continue to be in your lineup? And if so, can we expect, even more ice time for him?
God, I feel like I'm in a scrum with you guys asking questions about Parayko and Snuggerud.
We're bringing it to the people, Coach.
Jimmy played, he played really well, and in my eyes, he earned the opportunity to play again tomorrow night.
Coach, we can't all be like Greg. We know you. We're going to ask you questions, So
I wonder if Greg is sitting at home like, man, what an idiot.
I knew I recognized him.
I just picture him right now being like completely oblivious.
That was great. Monty stayed in character too, just like, yep, nice to meet you. No big deal. Keep the feet moving.
Keep the feet moving. Yeah, that's incredible. Coach, one last question from us. What specifically do you want to see? Like, what area would you love to see improvement right now with your team, despite the fact that you're 1-10 straight?
Yeah, I think right now, defensively, I wouldn't say happy, but there's not that much room for improvement. But I still think middle lane drive and speed at the offensive blue line is something we can improve upon when I'm looking at our last 3 to 5 games.
Perfect. Coach, love having you on the show. Thanks for the laughs, and we'll talk to you again next week. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jim.
See you, Greg.
A little backstory here. So, Jamie, was it yesterday or the day before? You said, "Listen, you're like Anthony. You've got to ask him about the situation in Nashville. We're on the street, we're on the sidewalk, something, and just ask him that." And that's all Jamie said.
Yeah.
And then we got into the office this morning, and you said, "Hey, just a reminder, you got to ask." I'm like, "Damn, man, this story better live up to the hype," and it did.
Oh,
that was
hilarious.
funny.
Honestly, it was Monty and I laughed so hard because it was so organic, and it was like one of those like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh, man.
And then
Fawning over you. Ignoring the head coach of the Blues.
And Monty's like, as we know, we have him on here every week, but he's such a great sport.
Yeah.
And so he stayed in character, no problem. And then when Greg walked away, he looked at me and I said, and I literally said, "Suck on that, Monty." He goes, "Can you believe that?" It was awesome, man.
I loved having Chief on. I did. I loved having Chief on. We got to know him, and we had a lot of good laughs with him as well. I didn't think anybody would come close to Chief, and Monty has, and in some regards, he has surpassed even Chief when it comes to these conversations.
Well, they're both genuine, right? So Chief is kind of like the little subtle digs, a little yuck here, but that's what he was as a player too in the locker room, you know. And Monty was like this: high energy, good stories, funny, loves to laugh, loves
positive.
To be positive. So it's funny. It's great actually that both of those guys have stayed true to like who they are too, and it's been a lot of fun having both of those guys on the show.
Players can see through that, right? If you're being fake,
they know if you're genuine or not.
Yeah, and I think fans can too. Less so. Because you're not around the head coach.
I don't know, man. They smell BS a mile away in this town.
They do.
They do.
They've been fed it.
They have.
A little bit. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We're going to play Prove Me Wrong. So if you've got a Prove Me Wrong statement that you want to send into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, please do so. This is where you send in a statement that you want to see either Carey, Jamie, or I prove wrong to Marsh, who winds up being the judge. I don't know the last time we've done this as a full show.
It's been a while.
It's going to be fun. Prove me wrong next.
Anthony, it's inevitable as you get older, you start to lose things, right? Your vision, your hearing. What? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, body.
Yeah. And one thing that's inevitable is your testosterone levels start to lower. And it doesn't pick a certain time. It just happens, and then most of the time you don't even realize it. And then you start to feel different, not the same. You can't work out the same. Weight isn't going anywhere. Your energy levels stink. That's why I headed into Mentality and talked to all their board-certified physicians. They asked me the right questions. I gave them the answers truthfully, and then they did the blood work and found out that I was low in testosterone as well as deficient in some other vitamins. And from that moment on, they put me on my unique program, and things have been unbelievable.
I want to address one thing too, because I feel like sometimes we get talking about this and some people are like, I don't want to be angry all the time. It's the exact opposite. I was more angry and irritable before Mentality. I rode the roller coaster constantly with the emotions before Mentality. Now it's almost like a mood stabilizer. Testosterone came up, energy levels excellent, but the mood stabilized. I know I can speak for you on this because I see it as well. You're not constantly irritable. You're not constantly ticked off.
Not with you sometimes.
Well, with me that's different. I try to get that out of you, and I do.
Yep.
But when you're inside the gym, man, you feel great. You feel like the weight's going up. It's excellent. Right? It impacts every aspect of our life. Head down to one of their two locations. Jamie usually goes to the one in Chesterfield. I usually go to the one in South County. You will see us in one of those locations weekly. We love being on the program. You will too. LowTUSA.com is where you can find it. But tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. Get a little something too. They'll have a little something.
Yep.
It's Mentality.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Well, we step in to the honorable courtroom of the Honorable Andrew Marsh, Judge Andrew Marsh, for Prove Me Wrong. This is where you send in a statement that you want the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter to have to prove wrong. We'll make our case to the judge, and the judge will determine whether or not we won said case against the Prove Me Wrong texter. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Judge?
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Are you ready?
Yes.
From the 636, Prove Me Wrong. Jamie paid Greg $100 to do that in Nashville with Monty.
Here's the thing about Blues fans. They're incredible, but they lose their minds when they're in Nashville. Jamie didn't have to pay Greg this time.
This time. The hell?
There might be down the road another chance. But when it came to Greg, he was just so excited. He was so excited that his Blues were about to embark on a great winning streak. He's so fired up that he recognized Jamie, of course. Jamie's on TV a lot. He probably watches the show from the Snake Pit. And Greg got so overwhelmed, and because he was in Nashville, he lost his mind a little bit, that he just didn't see Jim Montgomery. Didn't realize it was Monty. But no, Jamie didn't pay him. Jamie had spent all his money the night before at the bar. Thank you. And no cash left.
It's a good call.
It is good.
It's a really good call.
That's pretty accurate.
We're gonna text from 636. Prove me wrong. The Blues have a better chance of making a deep run in the playoffs if they finish as the wild card 1 and are on the Pacific side of the bracket rather than playing divisional opponents.
So what is it again?
So prove me wrong.
Yeah.
The Blues have a better chance of making a deep run in the playoffs if they finish as wild card 1 and are on the Pacific side of the bracket rather than playing divisional opponents.
So we want to play the Vegas Golden Knights, who 3/4 of their lineup are Stanley Cup champions.
Not me.
They got a couple of guys who are double Stanley Cup champions in Pietrangelo and Barbashev. A big, heavy team down the middle of the ice. Jack Eichel, who's one of the best two-way centers in all of hockey.
All of hockey.
Alex Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore. Like, this is what we're choosing? Yeah, no thanks. I'd rather play the Winnipeg Jets, get up there, a bunch of guys who have underachieved. Great regular seasons, Vezina trophies for Connor Hellebuck. Can't find a game where he stops the puck in the playoffs, though. Mark Scheifele, completely underwhelming in the playoffs. We get against that team. That team's nervous. They don't want to play the Blues, especially with the heater they're on, but they know there's championship pedigree still in that locker room with the Blues. And guess what, guys? The Blues were the underdog in 2019 in the first round against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yes,
and
sir.
what happened to that series?
Beat their ass.
Yeah, and who was on that team?
Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Connor Hellebuck, amongst others.
And who do we have, Jamie?
We had Braden Shen, Colton Parayko, and Jordan Bennington,
That's
amongst others. So, yeah, Pacific, my butt. Give me the Central.
Now, there's a chance that the Dallas Stars jump the Winnipeg Jets. Just saying.
Still, give me the Stars. The hell have they won lately?
Like all around or like in their last 10 games?
Well, like all around.
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Of importance.
Nothing, Anthony.
Do you not remember 2019?
I do remember it.
Jamie Benn does.
Hometown hero does.
Yeah, he does. I already gave you the ding.
Although it'd be really nice to go to Vegas.
All right, from the 314, prove me wrong. Given the size and length of contracts in Major League Baseball nowadays, the biggest miss in recent memory for the Cardinals is not going all in on Bryce Harper. That contract at this point would be a steal.
No, the biggest miss. Oh, go ahead, Carey. Excuse me. Sorry.
What position is Bryce Harper playing?
Right now, first base.
You go ahead. Never mind.
Yeah, listen, here's the thing. The biggest miss from the Cardinals, Judge, is, of course, the Marcell Ozuna trade. That was the biggest miss. Now, did you give me a timeline on that? I want to make sure I got my facts on that.
The timeline is nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays, which would have included the Marcell Ozuna trade. You gave up not one but two top-end pitchers in that deal, Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen. Now, do we know at the time that there were going to be two top-end pitchers? No. But if you trace back where things started to go wrong, it was the Marcell Ozuna deal. Did you hang on to him, Judge? No, you didn't. You let him waltz. So you essentially gave up two Cy Young winners or candidates in that deal to try to get Paul Goldschmidt his Robin to his Batman for 2 years. It was terrible. This organization, Judge, has always been predicated on stars and pitching, right? And then we just start giving away pitchers like a candy on Halloween. It's terrible.
Some people don't give out candy on Halloween.
No,
they give
they
out
don't.
watches and cereal.
Right.
Sometimes you have to go in the back of their house and make sure that they're giving out candy.
That's right.
Whoa.
We saw in the documentary on that. The Cardinals have been giving out pencils and erasers and rulers on Halloween. That's what they've become since that Ozuna deal. I don't like it at all. Not one bit.
Anthony makes some great points. But this was a free agent question. So
I asked for the details.
We were going to get the buzz anyways. I was going to say we got
Thanks for the details on that.
playing first base.
File a motion, please.
I don't
Take
know.
me a while to do that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
right,
really
do
good
it.
with paperwork.
Takes Jamie about eight months or so. File good paperwork.
From the 314, prove me wrong. It's easier to be a general manager of a mid-market team, i.e. St. Louis, in a sport with a salary cap compared to a luxury tax.
Easier to be a GM? No. I mean, if you got guys that are being paid a lot of money, it's hard to manage superstars. It's harder to manage a bunch of superstars and trying to figure out where the money is going to come from to keep this team in playoff contention and trying to win games at an elite level. And you got all these stars that have to get paid because if you don't pay them, what happens, Anthony?
Well,
they walk away.
Yeah, right,
you don't get to keep them because they're going to go
to the
get
Dodgers.
paid. They're going to get paid elsewhere. So it's harder to manage all of those personalities. We've talked about it, Jamie. When you got superstars, half those guys don't even know what the hell's going on half the time. You got to call them and make sure that they're awake. You coming to practice today? I don't know, Coach. What time is it? We'll be there to pick you up. It's hard as hell to manage a bunch of personalities, and when you got a lot of money being paid, much harder than mid-level guys.
So this question is a little confusing. I agree with what you're saying.
Thank you.
So I'll give you the ding.
Thank you for the
So it
ding.
is harder, but the prove me wrong says it's easier to be a general manager of a mid-market team. I think there's like two different questions here.
Yeah,
it's a little confusing because it's like two different statements. Because one is, okay, hockey, baseball, if we're comparing the two, but also the question says it's easier to be a general manager of a mid-market team.
Did I answer that?
Well, I think
I would say
No, you did fine.
if you're trying to prove that person wrong, you would say it's easier to be a general manager of a team that, you know, you can spend a lot of money.
I think the question was, it's easier to be, the statement was, it's easier to be a general manager of a mid-market team in a salary cap sport.
Gotcha.
Than a sport like baseball where you have, the Dodgers to contend with. Either way, we got the ding. It was I understood what the question was.
I say we move on, guys.
Absolutely.
I say we just move on.
Keep the feet moving.
Yeah.
You made your ruling, and it was great.
Yeah.
This is a great question. From the 314, prove me wrong. Jobu will get his name engraved on the cup when the Blues win this year.
Oh, wow. I doubt that. I doubt that because there are people that have real jobs within this team.
Are you serious? His eyes lit up last night.
That would probably like their name on the cup.
Can you imagine? Who's that?
Jobu. Yeah. Hey,
I don't see my name.
Sorry to the seventh defenseman. You don't get your name on the cup because we got to put Jobu on here.
Oh, who's to say they win it without him?
It's a great question, Judge.
I think he gets a ring, though.
He should.
Awesome.
In the parade, he gets his own convertible. He's sitting on the back of it. Come on. You'd have to do it.
That would be hilarious.
You have to do it.
I'm just picturing the poor SOB that's like, hey, I've been waiting my whole life to see my name on the cup. Jobu. Where am I?
Oh, man. Jamie, I agree with you. That would be tough. But at the end of the day, somehow you got to reward this fella.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
He's helping you out right now.
Tickets.
See, he's already in the locker room.
He doesn't get to watch the games. He's in the locker room. We'll put him on the bench next year.
There's got to be a TV in there, right?
Oh, my gosh.
If they get to the final, do you put him on the bench?
No.
I think so. Right beside Monty, just
Yes.
up on the bench.
Hey, do you think at the Enterprise Center, instead of the "Let's go Blues," people start saying "Let's Joe Booze"? Do you think they start saying that?
Probably
T-shirts
not,
coming available
but maybe,
soon, right?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's Joe Booze.
Let's go booze?
No, let's Joe Booze.
Let's Joe Booze.
Let's Joe Booze.
Or as
Let's Joe Boo.
Or
Wouldn't it?
Let's Joe Blues.
Or as Joe Vitale would say, Yo Boo.
Yo Boo.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you weren't here yesterday.
We had to correct Joe.
Yo Boo.
You know, in
What, is
fairness
he
to Joe,
Swedish all of a sudden?
in fairness to Joe, he did
helpful.
ask. He said, wait, am I Yo Boo? Am I getting that right, guys? No. it's
Was
Joe
he
Boo.
trolling you?
No.
I think he was serious.
No, he's serious.
Wow, that's bad. It's a tough look, Joe.
Well, you know, we've all had those.
Of course we have.
I had 9 yesterday.
Has any St. Louis team in this century won a championship without some type of, like, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but what else would you call it?
You mean like the
Rally
Squirrel,
Rally Squirrel,
obviously.
Gloria, Joe Boo.
You gotta have
Boris
those
the
things.
chinchilla.
What was 06?
06. Yeah, I don't know.
So 06.
Okay.
It must have had something.
No, it was Scott Spezio's red.
Oh, yeah.
The little red.
Flavor Saver.
Yeah.
Like all the kids had. I remember
soul
going to
patch.
school and I had a little red soul
Is
patch.
it the same as like what Joe Boo is now, though?
But it's something like that where like the fans can rally around. You know, in 2006, everyone's
They
rallying
were
around the
selling
red
them.
soul patch.
They were selling them at the stadium.
All right. Okay. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the answer is.
Like the Angels with the Rally Monkey
Yes.
in 2002. Yeah. All right. That's just good
Was
clean
it
fun.
Irv?
No, that Rally Monkey's probably long gone now.
I don't know.
Retirement home somewhere.
Where all the old monkeys go.
That's correct. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
I get a text from the 314. I love Yo Vitale.
That's funny. Next time we have him on, we do that.
Is Cam Fowler the new Jay Bouwmeester for the
Why?
Blues?
Fans like him.
That's true. They did come to appreciate Jay Bouwmeester,
It took him
though.
2 years.
It took them a long time, but they did. No, we'll have a conversation about Cam Fowler next on 101 ESPN.
Well, it is time to sell your home, and you may not know what you're doing. You're not alone, by the way. It can be very nerve-wracking and stressful, especially with the way the market is here in St. Louis, kind of fluctuating all over the place. So take the worries off your plate. Call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Here's a couple reasons why. Gloria's been in the business for over 20 years, and she knows exactly what to do for your home. If she goes over, she's going to take a look, going to tell you what the price should be for your home, and she's going to price it to where it sells fast, but you make the most money possible. And she's also going to use her database with thousands of buyers in there that are ready, willing, and able to purchase your home. And what that does, it just drives traffic to your listing. And the more people that get to your listing, obviously, the greater chance you have to sell your home, and maybe even multiple offers, which again would be more money for you. And that's because Gloria Lou is the best in the business. So please Give her a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
The 101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals with a 12-5 victory today over the Angels. They avoid the sweep. The Blues pick up a 2-1 overtime victory last night. Cam Fowler with the game-winning goal, and the Blues have now won 10 games in a row. They'll take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We talked earlier with Jim Montgomery, Blues head coach, on the 10-game winning streak. If you missed that interview, or if you missed any of our interviews today, which include Brad Thompson, Chris Chelios, and Anthony Becht, Battlehawks head coach. If you missed any of those interviews, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and like I said, you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. Speaking of Cam Fowler, is Cam Fowler the next or the new Jay Bouwmeester for the Blues? We'll discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Quick little 2-on-1 there. Obviously, Tomer's a great passer, and he put me in a good position, and I just saw myself, in with a good chance on the goalie and tried to make a good shot. So it was a good play all around mostly by Tomer. He set the whole thing up.
That's Cam Fowler. Following last night's game, he had the game winner, of course, in overtime to beat the Detroit Red Wings. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, you had kind of posed the question to us. I think you're setting me up with the tease. Is Cam Fowler the new Jay Bouwmeester for the Blues? And Jamie, your reaction was almost like, well, yes, and also more offensive upside. I had asked Jim Montgomery what Cam Fowler has meant to the Blues, and we'll get to what Monty said. But for you, Jamie, when you're watching Cam Fowler play the position that you did, what do you think he brings to the Blues? Like, what does he mean to it?
Right now, everything. Colton Parayko out, and you're missing Colton Parayko. So let me just make that clear. But you're not. Because, the team's been on a 10-game heater. So you're not missing him from a wins and losses standpoint. How good would your team be with Colton Parayko? It'd be pretty unbelievable. I can't wait to get him back. But that being said, like Jay Bouwmeester, when he started his career, was way more offensive-minded. And I played with him in Florida. And he was all over the place. Unbelievable skater, up in the play, power play guy. But as his career went on, he became more defensive-minded. Still a great skater. And we saw that here in St. Louis, especially during the 2019 run alongside Colton Parayko. Jay Bouwmeester was nails. He was so good. But I just don't compare Cam Fowler to Jay Bouwmeester that way. Is Cam Fowler an excellent skater? Yes, he is. He is one of the best in the NHL at walking the blue line. And all that means is going side to side to where the opponent doesn't really know when he's going to shoot the puck, what he's going to do. He opens up, looks like he's going to shoot, closes, opens up, and that's how he makes great plays. Great offensive instincts to join the play, jump up in the rush. We've seen that a number of times. So comparing, again, I said earlier, comparing players is tough, because they're all different in their own way. But I could say the role that he's playing is probably similar to Jay Bouwmeester when he was a little bit younger, before we got him, when he's in Calgary. But I didn't really know a lot about Cam Fowler. He played in Anaheim, he's there for a long time. It's like, yeah, whatever. But that's a great example of a player who got buried in a crap market, because the Ducks were terrible. And he's playing on a terrible team. His numbers were fine, but you're like, wow. Like when we first traded for him, so many people in text line. Why are we getting this guy? 30-something defenseman. Look at his numbers. Minus this, minus this. That's because his team was terrible, too.
Yeah.
Look what he's done as a Blue.
We never factor that in.
I know.
Do we? We never factor that. We never factor that in. I don't want to say never. Some people do. But you get a free agent, and you look at the numbers. If you're just about the numbers, Carey, sometimes you bring this up where the numbers can kind of lie to you. You look at the numbers and you don't factor in who his line mates are. How his offense operates. Are you the main guy that the defense are keying on, or they got so many other concerns that you're allowed to just do your thing? And then you're acquired for big time bucks, and you're not doing the same thing. Why? Because you don't have the team around you, or you don't have the line mates. So Cam Fowler playing for a crap Anaheim team, his full skill set isn't there. And plus minus, this is why plus minus can be so deceiving.
Yeah,
you almost have to throw it out if it's a good player on a bad team.
Well, you don't know because, as you said, that team could stink. Like, I'm looking at the Anaheim Ducks. They were minus 91 last year in goal differential.
Yes.
Like, you think he's not going to be on the ice for a lot of those?
the number one defenseman there?
Yeah. So your plus minus is probably
this is your
really
fault,
bad.
Cam.
I can't stop every one of them. I'm trying. But, yeah, I think that's why numbers at times can be skewed and people get a little fooled by them. I don't necessarily – I would rather watch a person play and see how well they're playing. And Cam Fowler, I think he adds an element offensively that, is good for this team. He does a lot of things. He's very poised and patient. He never feels like he's being rushed when he has the puck on his stick. It's just he knows where he wants to go. He's not going to be forced. He's not forcing passes. He looks very, very comfortable in his own skin and with this team. He looks like a really good player, and he's done a great job for him.
Splashback Deuce adds from the snake pit. It's a lazy fallacy. Parayko got crapped on the same way. He's right. He's right.
I feel like I've been defending defensemen for 3 or 4 years now. Jay Ball was the first one, then it was Parayko, and now it's Fowler. But Cam Fowler, let's just isolate his numbers with the Blues. 45 games, 30 points, plus 16. And his time on ice is just under 22 minutes a game. He has been not just instrumental, he has been the leader of the pack during this 10-game run. And when he gets his partner Colton Parayko back, I'm so excited to see them get back to work again as well. But it'll only make him even better because now he's got Colton Parayko that's up the ice or back, or like they can take turns like they were before Colton Parayko got injured. And you're right, Carey, he's so poised with the puck. Rarely do you see Cam Fowler turn the puck over or make a bad play. And part of that is because he's such a good skater, too. He'll get to a spot, wait, doesn't see it. Quick, tight turn, heads back the other way. Guy goes the wrong way, chasing him, and now it opens up more time and space. And then if there's nothing there, he does the high flipper out into the neutral zone. We'll deal with it out there, which is smart hockey play. Yeah. So Doug Armstrong really, he knocked it out of the park with a few moves this offseason and season. The Holloway Broberg, those are home runs. And Cam Fowler, that's a home run as well. And you've got all these guys coming back next year too, because they all have 1 year left on their deals. We'll see about extending Broberg and Holloway. I would throw an extension at Cam Fowler. I really would. He loves it here. He's enjoying St. Louis. His family is here. I don't think he's going to want to break the bank either. I think you could get him on another 2 or 3 year deal and keep him here for this transition period, especially with the way he skates and moves. And then you're locked in with Parayko and Fowler for the foreseeable future, Broberg and Falk for the next year or two. But then who knows where you go from there. But I don't know. I just think he's been an awesome addition. And one thing, too, last thing, in the locker room, he has been huge for these guys. He's been that voice of reason. He's been a supporting cast as far as the leadership's concerned because he's a veteran player. And so many players have said since he's gotten here, he's been an awesome addition, like in all aspects of it.
Well, that's what Jamie just noted. What about Jim Montgomery? I asked him about Fowler and the impact of his team on his team, and this is what Monty said.
He's meant confidence because of his extraordinary play. He's meant poise because his heartbeat never seems to get above 100. He's cool, calm, and collected in the heat of the battle. And he seems to rise when the battle gets to be at its top. And I think his enthusiasm, even though he doesn't outwardly show a lot of emotion, but his enthusiasm to be back in a playoff race and to be playing games that matter at this time of the year is great energy for our entire group to witness. And that's the same thing with Jake Neighbors and all of our young players that are going through this for the first time.
We got a question from the Snake Pit about what about Torrey Krug? Torrey Krug battling back from, as Jamie has noted several times, an injury that no hockey player has ever bounced back from. So Torrey Krug's got a long way, long recovery ahead here.
And if he makes a full, healthy recovery, the team will welcome him back with open arms, and it will just be one more guy to put on this defensive core of veteran guys. So we'll see. Wishing him nothing but the best. But right now, I'm looking at this roster from a standpoint of what you currently have that's healthy.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. We'll wrap up the show with what we learned, 3 stars of the day, criticisms and compliments. That's all next. If you're anything like me, you're a proactive homeowner. You want to look at a project and say, I can do it, I can handle that, I can do it at a cost-effective price. Well, if you're also anything like me, you don't know what the hell you're doing. So you need Mosby Building Arts to come in and actually tell you, hey, if you got an issue, here's what's going on. Mosby Building Arts, they're phenomenal. And maybe it's not an issue. Maybe it's a remodel. Well, they've got designers that are going to work with you and understand what your style is. True story on this. I talked to 2 different people at a Mosby event one time last fall, and one person said to me, I love options. We were doing a bathroom redesign. Mosby came in, and I love working with Mosby because they got all these different options for us. And I like to take my time. I like to see certain things, how the backsplash might look in a kitchen, or if I'm doing a bathroom, how everything kind of goes together. And Mosby was great with it. Then I talked to somebody else the same night, and they're like, "Yeah, I want like 2 options. I don't want to be overwhelmed with that. Give me you're the expert, Mosby. You figure it out. You give me 2 options. I'll go with one of those 2." Mosby Building Arts, again, they do a great job of making sure that they match your style and what you're looking for. Other remodelers may come in and they've got the same thing, same product. They don't really care, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to go with this. Go with the right remodeler. Honest pricing from Mosby, designers with great taste, trustworthy construction team. They treat your home, and I saw this firsthand, with respect. They keep it clean and organized throughout the project. Don't risk hiring the wrong team. Call Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company, at 314-909-18 1300 or visit callmosby.com to schedule your free consultation and see the difference for yourself. It's Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's mobile app. All the podcasts from 101 ESPN brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Been a fun show today. Don't forget the Puck Cancer Second Shift charity hockey game is this Friday night at the Centene Community Ice Center. You can tune in this Friday to hear us in the Fast Lane live from 2 to 6 from the E&B Granite Studio. Tickets are now on sale for the second annual Puck Cancer Second Shift alumni game. You can see the St. Louis Blues alumni face off against the Chicago Blackhawks alumni. So Jamie will take on Chris Chelios, who we talked to earlier today.
Yes.
In a rivalry game to support Siteman Cancer Center and the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Grab your tickets now for the game this Friday night to support those two great organizations, and then tune in to the pregame this Friday afternoon. Fast Lane, live from the E&B Granite Centene Community Ice Center. Marshy, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Carey Davis is Jordan Kyrie's new bodyguard.
I am.
Yep.
You didn't hear it. Take a listen.
That was early in the show, too, man. Carey was ticked.
First segment.
I'll fire it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say we did get a text from the 217 to all the idiots who wanted Jordan Kyrou gone. Go fast lane yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Carey sent that out, too.
I did. I did a mass text.
My 217 number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carey, what'd you learn today?
I learned that, Jamie, these two guys love the Dodgers as well. He's been picking the Dodgers and bet the board every day. Marshy jumped on board. Shohei wants him to get 2+ bases. I'm just saying, these two guys, Dodger fans, he got on his Dodger blue hat. You saw you with the Dodger blue glasses.
Blues hat.
It's Dodger blue.
No, that's not.
It says blues.
Yeah, blues.
But from the side, it's just Dodger blue.
With yellow.
Darker. Yeah.
Nah, I can't see this front. I just see the side. I'm not looking.
There's a blue note.
I can't see it.
Because you're not looking.
I can't see it.
Alrighty.
What I learned today is that Carey doesn't believe in the Blues.
What?
I talked about, that we've transitioned from house money to a team that's absolutely legit. And Carey goes, nah, it's still a team that's playing with house money.
That's not what I said.
Didn't believe.
You agreed. It was house money. What the hell are you
Wasn't
talking
it terrible,
about?
Jamie?
Shame.
You were there.
You agreed. And he agreed with me. We're playing with house money.
Hey, Carey, you've had your chance. Jamie, what did you learn today?
I learned that Joey Vitale's probably never seen the movie Major League.
He has. That's the funny
said
thing.
he has.
He even said
And I learned that Joey might be special.
He is very special to
Maybe
us.
a little bit.
No,
yeah.
to us, he's
extremely special.
Yobu.
Yobu. But nobody in the history of
Vitale.
anything has called him Yobu.
No, Jobu. But even news Pedro Serrano.
Pedro Serrano and drinking rum.
That's just weird.
He said, is it Yobu or Jobu?
It's Joe.
Well, you know what the confusion? Maybe he knew Major League was Jobu, and maybe he thought the Blues called him Yobu.
No, I
just
can't
saying.
see that. No.
I'm trying to help him out.
Swedish people do that. Every J is a Y sound. I remember playing with Swedish guys. Hey, Jamie. I'm like, no. Just call me Riff. It's fine.
All right, Marsh.
Jamie Rivers.
Jamie Rivers. You know Jamie? No, I don't. No, I don't.
All right, guys, let's do our 3 stars of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day. Presented by Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting the way it should be.
All right, our 3rd star of the day actually goes out to the 4 gentlemen that joined the show today. I thought all of the interviews were great. It was a great time being able to hear what they had to say.
Brad Thompson, Chris Chelios, Anthony Becht, of course, Jim Montgomery. Yeah, good stuff. All right.
Very good stuff. 2nd star of the day goes out to Blanton's.
Yes. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes. And of course, our 1st star of the day goes out to a guy that loves Jamie Rivers and has 0 idea who Jim Montgomery is. That is Greg.
Way to go, Greg.
in Nashville.
Way to go, Greg. If you're confused
He's
at all.
a Fast Lane listener, too.
Good.
I made sure to tell Monty that.
That's awesome. So, Greg, if you missed it, go back to the Jim Montgomery interview. I mean, it was the first question we asked him because Jamie gave us the heads up on it, and this story did not disappoint. Good stuff there. We have I think we were doing a recap today as I look at the board.
What's today?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, instant replay show.
Yeah, we got an instant replay show where you can hear Doug Armstrong and other interviews that we had throughout the course of the day today on 101 ESPN. They really got to update that board sometimes, you know what I mean? Got all the information for tomorrow.
It's so confusing.
It's like they don't care about us, guys. Anyways, for Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Everybody have a great night. See you.